Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing tonight?
What's up?
Welcome to Let's Talk MetaZoo. My name is Turmentic. Sorry about the delay. It took a while to actually get back. I had to go formal shopping today, and it was my fault. Entirely my fault that we actually started late tonight, so I apologize. With me tonight, though, of course, is the one and only, the beautiful Mike Ciano from TCG Island. And our special guest for tonight, I'm really excited about. Everybody knows him in the community. He basically covers and tracks all of the secret rares from MetaZoo. It is the one and only Alan. Man, thank you for being here. I'm so stoked, dude.
Thanks for having me. Really excited.
So yeah, we're gonna get to know Alan a little bit more, see what actually got him into TCGs in general. We'll talk a little bit about MetaZoo. We'll talk about some of the secret rares, and then we might actually speculate also about some of the secret rares we think or how they will operate actually in native. Because I got a couple ideas, and I know my man Alan does too. But yeah, secret rares are real. I have to just before we even start, I got to say every time you say that in chat, like I literally say it out loud as I can, depending on what time of day it is. Like I said, I'm super stoked to have you here. Super, super excited.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here as well.
Hey, they're loving the shirt, man.
They're real.
They're so. Oh God! All right. So, do you actually sell those shirts? Because I know people are going to ask that before we even start.
Oh, I literally just whipped this up an hour ago.
No, because I know people actually would probably buy those shirts from you. I'm not even kidding. All right, so to just jump right in, of course, my favorite question of any interview. What is your favorite cryptid and why is it Squonk?
Well, it fits in your pocket. It fits in your pocket, and you can take it out everywhere you go. You got 2 pockets, 2 squonks. Depending on what you wear, I wear cargo shorts, so I have squonks in every single pocket.
I think that's the best answer we've had to that question so far. Is Squonk really your favorite cryptid, though?
Squonk is one of them, the meme favorite cryptid. But in terms of favorite cryptid, just being in Canada, being in the BC area, it's really just got to be Sasquatch, but also Ogopogo.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, which Ogopogo was going to have a release very shortly, huh?
Oh yeah. It's definitely part of native. I was excited when we actually saw that one.
Yeah.
That was a fun one to actually do the lore. I didn't realize actually when I was doing the lore about Ogopogo, I didn't realize how big of a cryptid it really was in Canada.
I think we've always referred it to just our own little Loch Ness monster.
Okay. Is it one of the I know there's like 6 or 7 Loch Ness-esque cryptids across North America. Is it one of them? Because I know it's like a fan like Chessie, Tahoe Chessie is actually part of it in that too. I can't remember. There's like there's
have to find out.
I'll have to look into that. I think it actually is. I think it is. Ogopogo might be one.
It's just those stories that you grew up hearing. Haven't officially researched too much about them, but camping, you hear stories about them. You hear stories about Sasquatches. It's just, one of those things.
Oh, Kitty's actually saying the monster of Partridge Creek is disappointed in you.
Hey, you know what? It's a great Canadian BC, but it's really just on the other side of Canada for me.
All right. So, next question, Mike.
Go for it, brother. Hold on.
Okay. He's actually taking care of the comments. So take me back. What was it that got you into TCGs in general? Like, did you collect other TCGs as a kid?
Yeah, I have. So it all started with my brother. I have a brother who's 7 years older than me. He started with CCG, so that's the Star Wars version, the collectible card game. He moved over to Overpower, if that brings back anybody. Marvel Overpower. But the TCG era for me really started with Pokemon. That was just the thing that I've just really delved into. So that's kind of how I date back myself when it comes to TCG, but I've dabbed into just a little bit of everything, um, including Yu-Gi-Oh, Neopets, and
Neopets. Oh God, yes, Neopets.
yeah.
I actually still have. I randomly found recently some of the old Neopets cards, and like they're not worth anything, but it was just kind of be like, oh, this is this is actually like like not a secret rare, but it was like one of the whatever the ultra rare versions of something. Well, I don't remember. I'll have to actually send a picture to you because I laughed when I saw them. Not worth anything.
I recently found a empty theme deck box from the Neopets, not the cards, but the box. So
that's really awesome.
Back.
Yeah. Oh God, all right, I'll be honest. I actually tried to get into my old Neopets account last year, but I had created it when I was like under 13, and they're technically legally not allowed to give out the info of any accounts for like under 13-year-olds. And I'm talking like 2002, 2001 or so is when I created this Neopets account. And like, oh man, I used to go hard on Neopets. Sorry, Neopets has a strong place in my heart, man. I'm not even kidding you.
Yeah, I think for a lot of us, that was the big thing. Nostalgic.
So did you ever play Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic or Pokemon or anything like that?
Yeah, I played Pokemon for a little bit when I was back then. I think out of all the TCGs, it was mainly collecting. The one that I've played a little bit competitively was Yu-Gi-Oh. That was when it was just relatively brand new game. It was very exciting. And we were joining tournaments. I think that was probably the biggest one that I've ever really dived into in terms of gameplay.
Yu-Gi-Oh was a lot of fun back in the day. Now it's just too confusing.
Yeah.
Like now it's pretty much like first turn I summon something that's like 9 stars, and you're like, wait a minute, guy, how did you do that? You had it. Yeah, no, Yu-Gi-Oh back in the day was actually a lot of fun, just because of the way you had to actually sacrifice the creatures in order to actually summon new ones and stuff like that.
Yeah, until 4-star 1800 attackers came out, and that was just like, bam, you're gone, you're gone, you're gone.
Pretty much, and it completely changed everything. So, how did you actually find MetaZoo?
So within, I guess, during the shutdown, we always had a group of friends. My friends, we call ourselves Quack Packs. One of our really good friends, Benny, who came out to Long Beach with me. He runs that group, and we would be opening Pokemon cards. We will be opening different various TCGs. And MetaZoo was something that came up. It was at one point on my bookmarks for the Kickstarter event. But I think that, like a lot of us, we probably let that just go through, notified, great, I'll do it later. And then you just have that little bit of regret of not actually making a pledge. But somebody else brought up the name MetaZoo, and that was within our group. And we're just like, okay, you know what? I'm not too sure about this. We did a little bit more digging. It was about cryptids, which kind of piqued our interest. At that time, Nightfall was a really big thing. So one of our friends within that group decided, okay, you know what? Great. Let's just buy a bunch of Nightfall spell books. I found this really great place that gave us this bunch, and we'll just test it out and see how it is. So we started opening up Nightfall spell books. Interestingly enough, the Nightfall spell books, this one case that we had in there, for some reason contained Collecticon cards.
What?
Right? This one case, every single spell book was giving us 3 to 4 Collecticon. We're talking about within
these
our
are the
group,
these are the ding bell ones, right?
These were the I can't remember which exact Collecticon it was.
Okay.
But we're talking about like full hollow Mothman Collecticon stamped. We're talking about Wendigo.
Collecticons. Oh, the stamped cards.
Stamped.
Oh, wow.
And they were found in spell books. And that was a really exciting time at that time. Exciting thing. And then each one we were opening, we were getting, Flood the Earth Collecticon stamp cards. And we knew these were convention exclusive cards. And one of the members mentioned about the Discord. They went into the Discord, asked Mike, I would assume, if it was possible to pull Collecticon stamp cards in spellbooks. It wasn't. That was the message. So we got even more excited. We just kept cracking. We bought another case, and that was the end of that.
Did you get any of the Collecticon cards coming out on film?
You know what? I have to go back.
Because that would be really cool to actually kind of just watch. Like now in retrospect, that would be really cool to actually watch.
Yeah, and that's how I have 8 different full hollow Collecticon stamp cards. I want to say we pulled, at least within this one case of spellbooks, we probably pulled about half of the full hollow set.
So
all stamped. I think we had a couple of Wendigo stamped.
That's crazy. I never heard this story either, Alan. You never told me this.
I was gonna say I've never heard that this ever happened. And
you heard it here first on Let's Talk MetaZoo.
Yep. Was every card stamped in the whole pack?
Oh, within 10 packs there will be at least 2 to 3. Every second or third spell book was, it might be, it might not contain one, but I think within 5 spell books that I bought, I pulled 8 Collecticon stamped packs. Yeah,
dude, that's so crazy. That's such a cool story too. Wow, why don't more people know that story? You don't tell people that story that often, do you?
Actually, you know what? I've told quite a few people. But if you go back to one of my earliest Instagram posts, you'll see me posting 2 full hollow Collecticon stamped Headless Horsemen.
Ooh, nice.
And that was one of my earliest MetaZoo. I think I pulled back-to-back Collecticon stamp. I will definitely make it a goal to find the footage. Because it was definitely streamed and we were all very confused.
Oh my god, no, dude, that's so amazing. My wife, by the way, she brought me the most beautiful cup in the world, Mothman for President, some coffee.
That's awesome.
No, that's such an amazing story, especially with it being your first. I love you. With it being the first instance of you being introduced, or basically the first time opening cards, and that's such an amazing experience that for a first timer to have.
It is. It was a little sensory overload because you were opening these packs, you were trying to figure out these cards. Some BCs you were recognizing, some you weren't, and then at the same time, we were just so confused. And like I said, we had one person in our group that was very, very deep into MetaZoo. They were very knowledgeable, and this was confusing them. And that's how that's how I heard about the Discord at first. I didn't join it yet, but that was the first earlier moments of, okay, you know what? There's a Discord, staff or somebody is in this.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's such a cool story. So have you sent any of those to actually be graded?
Not yet. That is definitely something I should look into. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Hey, you need anything graded, talk to the dude right there next to you.
No, I got
yeah.
But yeah, no, for sure. Like, yeah, I would 100% all of those Collecticon cards. Like, I would get those things graded because that's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy too, because I mean, like, you're the secret rare guy, you're the SR guy, and like some of those Collecticon cards, they're very limited number print.
Yeah.
Like, so again, that's so crazy for that to be your first experience with MetaZoo, and then for you to eventually become the SR tracker. Like, that's very serendipitous, to use that word. I love that word.
And I guess, that was our first earlier moments of a secret something within these spell books.
Oh, so Ann is right here. Ann just popped in. He's like, hey, I guess I missed a good story. Okay, you missed the most excellent story. My man right here, his first instance, I'm going to sum it up very quickly. His first instance with MetaZoo was with Nightfall. Opened up a case of Nightfall spell books, and they had Collecticon stamped cards in them. Insane.
Yeah, this random case in Canada. At that time, it wasn't even deemed possible.
Make me want to go to Canada now and get some Nightfall.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah, but it was funny because there's within the same batch we bought another case, and I think oh, I can't remember. It was like 1 or 2 cases. It's been so long ago, I can't remember now. But 1 or 2 cases, and then the rest were just no more. That was the end of that ride.
That's crazy, man. So did you start out in MetaZoo as and I have his website pinned as the top comment on YouTube, metazoosr.com. So definitely go and check it out because again he has most of them that have been reported, I would say, listed on the website. Definitely check it out. It's a great resource if you're actually trying to find more info on them.
Oh, once I found out that he was tracking it, because I met Alan on Discord, and real quick, like when I first jumped into Discord, because I got Discord for MetaZoo. Like I was never on Discord prior to that. So when I got on Discord and went to the MetaZoo Discord, Alan was one of the people that like made me feel welcome in there, you know? So I was like, oh, that's cool. And so I would talk to him a little bit. And then when I found out you made the tracker, anytime I would see something on Facebook, I can't remember who I asked. It was probably Rob. I'm like, hey, what's his name on Facebook?
Yep.
What's his name on Facebook? I need to tag him.
We made it a goal to tag you in every single post that we actually saw on any of the groups that we're in to make sure that you actually had access to those cards.
That was, I mean, the website is not the website without the community. And that's something I always voiced out. The both of you, but everybody in YouTube, everybody else in the Discord channel and Facebook communities, really big thanks, because the tracker isn't a tracker without the whole entire community coming together and just pinging me. There are some people who are always apologizing, pinging me because they don't know if it's something that I've seen already. But, that's always grateful because multiple pins. Don't hesitate, just reach out. And that's what I love about the community.
I've never seen you get upset at being tagged at a secret rare, even if it's one you've seen 100 times. You're still like, they're real.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I love your energy when you approach the SRs. Like, I love the energy you bring to that entire aspect.
For sure. I mean, you don't always get to see a serialized rare. It's definitely not something that is a event every single day. I mean, we've gone on for a few weeks now that we have not seen a reporting of one. So anytime you see one, whether it's the same one that you already have, it brings you that joy because you would go check your own website. Oh, is this the same one from the one previous? And it just gives you that little moment of just appreciating everything else that's happened around you.
No, that's true. Gail has a good question. He wants to know your thoughts on what you think the highest rarity of a card in MetaZoo is. Not that it's not a sample, Kickstarter, or secret rare, but what do you think is the most secret, I guess, the most rare card?
That's a
hard question. That's a hard question, to be honest, because we haven't seen all of the secret rares. I mean, there's still secret rares from Wilderness we haven't seen. There are still, I mean, look at all the redeemable from Seance and things like that. So that's a hard question.
Yeah, it's hard because there's also a lot of different layers involved into it as well, right? If we're talking about exclusive cards that were released for events that not everybody was able to obtain, that is also pretty rare. But do we also count cards like that that specific groups were able to get?
The MetaZoo Illustrator card, for example. Like that's a really hard card to get. That I don't even know if they actually still make that anymore, to be honest with you.
Or the business cards.
Yep.
I would love a business card.
What is it? The one you got for actually hooking up a store to get them. What is it? The ambassador promo. Like they don't even do the ambassador promo anymore. So it's a kind of a subjective question. I still wanted to see your thoughts on it, though. Oh, drop it, of course.
TCG Island stamped card.
LGS
promo.
I mean, like, I can't wait to see those stamped cards, guy. Like, I'm so excited for those. I just all across the board, like all of them. I mean, and I of course, like Mike's my boy. I can't wait to see the TCG Island card. But like, I can't wait to see all of them across the board, honestly. And I love the idea of it being like a almost small little mini set within native proper that it's more chases. It's a brilliant idea on my part, or not my part. Sorry, MetaZoo's part. Like it's such a brilliant idea.
Oh, for sure. I think it really it does bring spotlight to partners, the topic behind partners, helping partners out. But I think the chase between people maybe trading for other stores, it's different.
It is. I mean, that's something that my boss actually always talks about when he talks about MetaZoo and people, is that he loves how innovative they are, how they're going off and so many different directions, but each one of them is a focused direction point of like an endpoint, if you will, of why they make the choice that they do. And it's the crazy stuff like partner promos. It's just like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I can tell you right now. I mean, this I shouldn't. Nah, I won't get in trouble for this. But they have asked us directly, like, what can we do to help you guys? You know, what can we do to help you guys be successful? Like, so it's really cool what MetaZoo does. Like, there are a lot of behind the scenes stuff a lot of people don't see, and it's but they directly asked, and all the partners just had boop 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 boop, all kinds of ideas and things like that. They gave us native spoiler packs to open for the community. They, you know, they're always doing something cool, man. So
my favorite thing, and I know this is completely off topic, so I apologize, Alan. My favorite thing, honestly, about the partner program is the way that it is set up to where it is a support network almost, in essence, where MetaZoo wants the community to go to the partner stores. They want the partner stores to be the beacons or the places where people go to qualify for these tower events. They want that focus to be on the partners, not directly on them. And that's something that's actually brilliant, because in essence, if you build the community from the bottom up, then you're going to have such a strong foundation to just keep making it bigger and bigger and bigger. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of the partner program. But anyway,
sure. Didn't they just recently announce that they're not going to be selling native on the marketplace for a period of time, just to make sure everybody goes to their partner stores, their local LGS? I swear that was a thing, wasn't it?
I heard something like that. I know that I don't know exactly, because they haven't. I don't know actually if they've actually said anything outright, but I know that they're not selling stuff, that they're pushing people towards the partners, which is honestly brilliant in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, the more support they give to partners, the bigger and more successful the partners can be. The more people the partners can actually influence and actually reach to build that MetaZoo community up and up and up again. So, like I said, I'm a huge supporter of the partner program. So did you, when you first got into, so your first instance with MetaZoo was insane. Did you actually start playing, or were you primarily more of a collector when you first got into it?
I was primarily collector.
Okay.
Yeah. Playing didn't really come across my mind yet. It was a really brand new idea. And when we were just opening spell books, I think at that time, once we kind of got all of the cards and organized them, creating the set was the next step. And then that was the chase to just finish the set. Nightfall. It was a little bit of a challenge at that time because Nightfall was not easily obtainable.
I wanted to ask, was it harder to actually get product in Canada?
For me, it was.
Okay.
Local stores weren't able to really carry them. The cost of Nightfall at the time was quite high. And certain stores were going to have to charge you even more. And they didn't feel like that was going to be something that they wanted to do. So at that time, we were trying to source products from wherever we could. At the same time, trying to make sure that we're building the set and not kind of breaking our wallet.
Fair too. Yeah. And and Nightfall, when it first came out too, was not a cheap set. Like those booster boxes were easily $240, $280. I mean, I don't know if they were actually more up there, but down here, at least in the States, it was like $240 easy, $250 for a booster box.
And at that time we were just doing spell books,
Well, you got to remember too that back then, what was that? That was fall of 2021, I think. Yeah. There were only really two big distributors, I think, of MetaZoo at that time. And so, I mean, it even was hard. I mean, I can't imagine honestly what it was like, how hard it was actually maybe up in Canada, but it was even hard down here in the States to even get Nightfall, to be completely honest with you. It was easier, in my opinion, to get Cryptid Nation 1 than it was Nightfall, which doesn't make sense. Like, but that's just how it seemed. It took me longer to actually complete the Nightfall master set than it actually did the Cryptid Nation master set.
Right, yeah. At that time, CN1 was pretty hard to obtain still up here. CN2 was delayed when it came to spell books and certain things. Yeah, I think CN2 came just a little bit afterwards, didn't it? So Nightfall was the most obtainable product that we could find at that time.
Yeah, Nightfall came out in October, and then CN2 came out, I believe, in mid-January, I think.
Yeah.
And then Wilderness was, I think, March, April. Yeah, and CN2 was all over. Yeah, CN2 was all over. But again, it was so much fun to rip because like it was just like opening up CN1, except it was cheaper. It was way easier to get.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think that we're 1 year we're 1 year into Wilderness already.
It's crazy. So do you have master sets of everything so far?
No,
Are you working on master sets?
I did CN2 minus Blue Ink one day, but I think the only master set that I've finished right now is Wilderness.
Okay.
Yeah. Do we count serialized rares and master sets?
I don't count serialized rares. That's not fair.
Chat, tell me, the serialized rares count towards a master set?
That's not fair.
I think so. I that's why it's called a master set, in my opinion.
No, that's like the super uber overachiever master set.
Because we have sets, we have complete sets, we got master sets.
Fair. That's fair. I don't know. I can't get myself to actually count secret rares. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair at all.
So,
okay, so MetaZoo saying no. Jody from MetaZoo HQ is saying I wouldn't count it as part of the set only because only so many you can get. Wayward actually. Let's show that. Wayward has a good comment. Call that a god set. Hey, that's pretty
god
good.
Set. You know what I would count towards god sets then? Everything else. We're talking about upside down errors if that's available.
Oh man.
Missing hollow errors. So that's what I've been doing for Wilderness. So there's upside down errors, which I don't have one yet. There's the missing hollow error. There's do we count the weird texture error?
Yeah.
The bubble error.
Okay, so maybe we call it the ultimate collection. you got your god tier, your ultimate, and your master.
I'm gonna cause some problems here. Everybody after this stream is just gonna go and look at their set and just go, "Oh man!"
You're gonna cause so much controversy, man. You're gonna throw the entire community. You're gonna just flip the table. So walk us through you actually pulling the Green Man. Like, what were your thoughts? Like how much Wilderness had you opened before you actually got to the Green Man? Like, walk us through that.
No, so my friend and I, his name comes up quite often because he's the one who got me started into everything. He's the one who helped me find products. He is my MetaZoo like super friend at the time. Well, still is. But my friend Benny was able to secure a case for me. And we opened together. Now, one thing that a lot of people, I guess, don't really know is that we opened it together. That case was supposed to come to me, and we were supposed to open it, but I just could not wait for that shipping time. So over on cam, he helped me open it. So the Green Man was open on stream for me at that time, which is something that isn't really known.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
No. So again, that case was supposed to be sent to me, open it up, but from the other side of Canada over here, it was going to take a few extra days. It was going to be major shipping costs. So he secured the case. We set up our stream together, and we opened the case. It was pretty crazy, and I'm so glad I secured the case because
I'm glad you got it on camera or film.
Yeah, the fourth box in that case had one hollow in it.
Whoa.
One hollow. At that time, anybody, if you didn't secure the case, you probably would have just called it quits. Right? Mm-hmm. You open a box, you open a second box, there was like 15 hollows, 11 hollows, and then you're just going down to one hollow in the whole entire box.
People don't remember how brutal Wilderness was at times. Like Wilderness was like, you think Seance it was rough. Like Wilderness was true rough. I'm not even, at least with Seance, you're coming into a full reverse hollow box. With Wilderness, it hit you. Like there was nothing you could do.
And to my friend was even asking me, I was like, are you sure you want to continue then? It's like, well, if you were to send the case to me, I'm just going to blow through them anyways. So let's do it. And and then we were not planning on hitting a serialized rare. We were not planning on hitting anything. Like the odds are really against you at that time. And I'm not one of those people who have just, put that into your mindset of like, okay, we're going to hit like this. We're going to hit this. You're just enjoying the card. I think the biggest card for me during Wilderness was really Bigfoot. Bigfoot was the biggest chase for me. And then out of nowhere, we opened up Green Man. That's so weird.
And it's what, number 26, right?
Yeah, it was number 26. And at that time when I saw it, I went nuts. I went ballistic. I knew exactly. It took my friend just a few extra moments to realize what he had. And then, that was the craziest night that I've ever had.
Was it one of the first ones pulled?
It was not. It was the first one in Canada pulled.
Okay.
Yeah, it was also the first one that was pulled from a booster box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because at that time it was the release event box that was opened, and then a different. I cannot remember the products now. But it was the first one from a booster box. I think one of them came from a spell book, one of them came from a RAV, and then that was from a booster box. And then it was the first one in Canada, and I think it was the third one at that time that was revealed.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so all right. So that's another film that you're gonna have to actually let me watch. I want to see your reaction when you pull it. Even if I can't see your face, just being able to hear the audio would be enough for me because I can only imagine. I don't think I have
audio in that time because it was past midnight for the both of us, and it was just like, okay, you want me to send this to you, right? Like you want me to just tomorrow send this to you, and it was just that idea of like, no, we just gotta rip it.
That's that's so crazy, man.
Did you already have the website when you pulled it, or
what's that?
Did you already have the website when you pulled it, or did you make the website after you pulled it?
No, we didn't have the website. Well, I mean, tracking it wasn't a part of something that I was initially going to do. But after when it was opened, I started to screenshot the rest of the Green Mans just to see how many there were. So that was what sparked the website. So we opened our third one, and then by the 11th one that I have screenshotted, I think it was just somebody in Discord, and I'm sorry I can't remember who, and another person in Facebook that was just like, is there a registry? Is there some place that we can go to? And that was when a few people were like, okay, we can look into this, right? Some of the really amazing content creators out there. Jody was one of them. MetaZoo HQ was thinking about starting something like that. And then I think Caster Society was also just thinking about starting something like that.
Because that was actually before MetaZoo HQ and Caster Society actually kind of merged.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
So I already had a little catalog of them. So as soon as I heard, Mike said that sounds like it will be a cool thing that somebody would do. So I quickly just, I was at work. I went on lunch, and within that lunch break, I just created this little, like, really quick plug and play website. And it was just called the Green Man Gallery at that time.
Okay.
And I was able to upload the 11 or 15 photos. By the time I created the website, I think I had about maybe between 11 to 15 screenshots already. So we plugged that up there. I made sure I messaged a few of the content creators. I didn't want to step on foot. I also didn't want to, just wanted to make sure, hey, you know what? I just whipped this together. I thought it would be really cool. I already had screenshots of everything, so that way you didn't have to go and chase through them. And I think the biggest spark for the website initially, other than the Green Man Gallery, was that Jody really just took that in, embraced it. And so really cool guy. And he created a little serialized area on MetaZoo HQ.
Nice.
So I would update him on the serialized rares. He would update his website at that time. While I had the Green Man Gallery, he linked my Instagram towards it. And then, it just continue. I had the Green Man Gallery, but then when UFO started coming along, that's when I changed it into MetaZoo SR, when the first serialized rare was pulled. And then same thing, I talked to Jody. I was like, hey, you know what? I want to start this website up. I don't know how to really get going, but at the same time, the only name I could think of is something similar to yours. So is this okay? Is this all right? And Jody was like, you don't have to ask me for anything. Why are you asking me for permission? He's like, I think this is a cool idea. And then, it went from there. MetaZoo SR. I was using a hosting site, and then later on, I just decided to do what everybody else did. Just paid for the hosting, got the domain, and just enjoyed the ride.
Man, that's awesome. So. Have you ever put any thought into actually going back and, because I know that you don't have red ink, blue ink, or old scratch on there. Have you had any thought about actually going through and trying to compile that information as well too? I know it's kind of similar to like my boat, where like I didn't really start covering lore until halfway between Wilderness and UFO, and I've realized recently I don't really have any Cryptid Nation, Nightfall, or really Wilderness hardcore content. And it's kind of like the same thing with you. Like you started with Green Man and Wilderness and then kept going forward. But you have any inclination if you're going to go back and try to do the other ones?
Oh, this is great. So this is something that I've been diving into for a while now. I've had a lot of people ask me. Let's talk about tracking non-serialized rares. So non-serialized rares, the only thing that will help them in terms of distinguishing which one's which, especially when a lot is shared and reshared. It is possible, but it's very tricky. So we're talking about the hollow pattern tracking on these cards.
That's smart.
Yeah. So I was actually talking to Michael earlier, that for newer cards, if there are going to be newer secret rares that are not serialized, I think it'll be really cool to come up with a little algorithm on hollow pattern tracking. So something like geometry base, the four corners, diving deeper into the middle of the picture. The only thing with that is we really have to ask the community for help if that was to come up. Blurry photos is not going to help. Certain lightings is not going to help. So it really depends on how much attention to detail both myself would go into this project, but also at the same time asking the community for help. Because it's definitely one thing to share a congrats to these people, but it's another thing to just be like, hey, you know what? Sorry, can you get me a different angle picture? Can you send another picture. I think I did that for a few of the Seance serialized rares, and at that time it was just like, how much do I want to message this person for a updated photo so I can get that hollow pattern? But retroactive on the old scratch, blue ink, and red ink, I think it's going to be quite the task. I'm not too sure if it is something that I am thinking of doing, because you have to also think about if you had a catalog of 30 cards already and the 31st picture comes out, not only do you have to distinguish whether that's a newer photo, but you also have to ensure that you're going to be matching it up with the other 30 cards as well. So every time you get a new card, you might have to go and track back to all the last 31 cards. The last
30. Have you actually looked into if red ink, blue ink, or old scratch, if the hollow patterns are the same? I never thought about that. That's an interesting thought.
I mean, it's as far as for me, when it comes to hollow patterns, they are going to be different. You got the largest stars, you got the smaller stars, you got different sparkle patterns. At the same time, it's a holographic foil sheet that is cut up into separate cards. So it is possible. I did recently attempt that, I think. Funny story, I had a friend who had a blue ink graded. And
like you do, you know.
Yeah,
casually.
He got a blue ink graded.
He got a blue ink.
It didn't come back as a grade that he would have wanted. The shop owner or whoever the middleman that was helping him grade also had a copy of a blue ink. So he didn't know whether it was, positive intent. You never want to come across that, right? You never want to think that somebody's switching cards on you. But at the same time, it's also part of the curiosity on why something got the grade that it did. So that's when I got a clearer image of the blue ink and also his blue ink before it got graded. We were able to differentiate the different hollow patterns. You drew circles on the bigger. So what I did was I drew a green circle on the bigger stars, blue circles on the smaller stars, and then the red circles on the different sparkle patterns, and we just match it up and just go, nah, this is not the card.
Oh, wow.
This was the original card. So the card that was graded with a grade that you didn't agree with is the original card that you had. So that was where the hollow pattern tracking helps with that.
Yeah.
But it also could help with future non-serialized secret rares.
I mean, you even have, like how you were saying he sent it off and it came back a grade, it wasn't that good. You could have somebody who sent a red ink into Beckett, it got a 9.5, and they want to try to convert it to a PSA 10. So even if you pull population reports, because I don't think Beckett removes certs. So even if you updated them and told them, hey, I cracked this and resubbed it, I think they still leave it in their population report. I could be wrong. I'm not a big Beckett guy, but I think
I'm not too sure, because there's serialized cards are a everyday thing when it comes to sports cards. So I know there was something during, I guess, the last update when it comes to the major grading companies, when it comes to regrading the same serialized card, but I can't be quoted on that. I'm not too sure. I just remember that there was something that they wanted to do to stop people from, I guess, regrading.
Why? I don't understand why they'd be upset though with people regrading, because it's literally more money for them to regrade it.
I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that though, but I just remember reading something weird about it.
Like, well, I mean, I guess it makes sense, because especially if you're trying to regrade something and it does come back as a higher grade, they then have to open up the slab, I guess, in essence, in order to put the card in a new slab, unless they can actually somehow change the label, and they could damage the card by doing that. So, I mean, I guess that actually can become a thing, but
yeah,
at the end of the day, they're still making money, so I don't know why they'd be upset at making money. I don't really grade that much stuff. I have so much stuff that I need to grade, though. I'm lazy.
I would think that the grading company's probably upset by that, because like let's say, because I know you see it on Facebook and stuff, like people will crack certain slabs and resend, but they'll keep the label, right?
Mm-hmm.
So show what, like right here, MetaZoo Nation, Dean or Matt, he's over there in Australia. Yeah, Blue Ink was a CGC 9.5, so I cracked it, sent it to PSA where it received an 8. So
Oof.
people like to, compare the grade. So, and I know people that'll get a PSA slab and they'll be like, this isn't this grade, and they'll crack it and then they'll send it right back off and hope to get a different grade. So if it's better and then they post, I feel like it's bad. It's a bad look for the grading company if the grade changes or goes higher.
Mm-hmm.
So, but at PSA, it is, there is room for human error, right? So
I think within the next 5 to 10 years, though, honestly, most of the bigger named grading companies are going to move towards AI grading. It's safer, in my opinion. It's fairer. I mean, like, I hate saying it, but somebody can go into that job one day having a horrible morning, and it can affect certain grades. I mean, and I hate saying that because, like, I don't want to talk like bad about those companies, but I mean, people are human, like you said, human error.
yeah.
And so I think that is one thing that actually, I think if we can move more to a set parameter AI grading system, I think not only would it expedite the process and we actually get more slabs back quicker, I think it'd make it cheaper, and I think it'd actually be more fair across the board.
No.
Yeah. I also think that people there need to be like just a rework of the grading system.
100%.
Even if it's just a indication, they do a really great job at indicating why something didn't get the grade if you were to cross grade. They do a really great job at indicating that your card is fake. But if your grade is a 9 or a 10, it'd be really cool that either PSA or I think Beckett does this little piece of paper that indicates like where it didn't cross grade. It'd be really cool to get a summary of that. So it gives a better explanation.
Perfect example would be the back of like, this is the only slab that I had, but the back of this card right here. The only reason why I think this thing actually got an 8 was because you can't really see it on the camera, but along the back right here and like in 2 spots over here, it honestly just looks like the card is dirty. Like there's no damage or anything like that. It honestly looks like if you would have wiped it off, it would have actually graded better.
And it would have, yeah.
And there's no way I'm ever cracking this slab now because of Kelsey doing the doodle. So whatever, it's gonna always be an 8. But
hey, why is your doodle bigger than mine?
Because she loves me. It's so amazing. I love it. No, I love that card. Like, that will never crack that slab ever. And I mean, it was one of those, like, I had to get her to sign it. But like little things like that, I wish they would have, if they would have actually sent me something back, like you said, being like, the card was dirty on the exterior, on the back, on the left, and the right, I would have been like, okay, cool. I can attempt to maybe try to clean that, resub it, and get a better grade. But without them saying anything, it makes me worried to actually even crack that, because first off, I don't want to damage the card. Then second off, is it worth me cracking it to do that, not knowing if that is dirt or if that is a misprint or damage or something like that? So yeah, transparency would be huge, I feel. But again, that would slow down the process, though, I think, though, too, unless it was some sort of an AI driven grading system.
Oh, that's fair. Definitely. I mean, especially with a lot of people now just going through the authentic route for grading autographs and just not even worrying about the card grade.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, well, then what is it? They just started actually doing Funko Pop grading as well, too. And like, I got a Luffy from Collecticon that I got Erica Schroeder to sign. And I just got this was like right at the beginning of when they started trying to grade pops. And they asked if I wanted them to grade the pop, and I was like, no, this pop is rough. Just grade the signature. And like, it was perfect. It's one of my favorite pops in my collection now. But yes, I like the whole idea of a full revamp. And this isn't just a bash on PSA. This is CGC. This is Beckett. This is DWG. This is every single grading company across the board. There needs to be some sort of reevaluation of what constitutes certain grades moving forward, because it's gotten a little crazy, in my opinion, over the last 3-4 years.
Especially if subgrades are not given.
Yeah. Yeah, and like, what is it? It's what is it? It's only Beckett that does subgrades.
Beckett, CGC does it too.
Okay. Oh, PSA is the only one that doesn't. That's so lame. It wouldn't be that hard to put the little 9.5 or 8 or 7 or 1 like across the thing.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like, why is this a 10? Or why is this a 9 and not a 10?
Right? That's yeah. No, I'm 100% like that. 100%. That was a great segue, by the way. That was awesome. We're talking about grading companies, and let's talk
Right?
MetaZoo, right? Who would have thought? All right, so I got to ask this because I know people are going to be curious. What is your favorite grading company since we were talking about grading companies?
Oh, dang. I don't know. I guess majority of wins, it would just be PSA.
Okay.
Their labels are just, I got to say that they're just plain and simple. They're red bordered like MetaZoo.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's a I'm gonna have to remember that. That's a good selling point. I always tell people, Beckett, if you think it actually can get a black label, PSA if you don't, and then CGC if it's any sort of miscut or any sort of weird sort of card. Because CGC seems to be really the only company that will really declare it some sort of miscut or
error,
misprint, something.
PSA does do the off-centered, I think. I don't know if they still do that, but they do the off-centering.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they do a miscut grade as well.
I didn't know that. Is it like a different color label?
No, it's just written right on the grade, either next to the grading or underneath the grading in brackets. It'll just be MC for miscut and OC for off-center. But I think it's something that you have to ask for on your submission.
Oh, you got to designate it when you actually submit it.
You can get an MK identifier too, and that's marking. So like if you have like a card, like let's say I took a card and then took this marker and went across the front of it, that'll come back with an MK grade for being marked.
No, does that stand for like touch? Like if you tried to touch up a card?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like, so if you try to like alter the card to like make it look better, like let's say, you took a permanent marker and you had some whitening on the back of a MetaZoo card and you touched it, they wouldn't grade that. That would come back altered and they wouldn't grade that. But if you took just anything and I wrote my name across the front of a card, they will put it as a mark and you'll have MK next to the grade. So that's weird, but so you see those, that's why that's there.
I don't know if I've ever seen an MK one. That's interesting. Basic Trainer is he's saying this, a person experienced in slabs for over a decade, subgrades do nothing as they are not repeatable regardless of the grading company.
That's fair.
That makes sense.
I've seen a lot of cards from Beckett. They'll have subgrades and it'll be a BGS 10 gold label. So BGS 10 gold label is 3 10 subgrades and 1 9.5. Doesn't matter where it's at. So, but I've seen somebody take a BGS 10 that had 9.5 on centering, and then they cracked it, resubbed it, and then it came back at BGS 10 again, but it was a 10 on centering this time and a 9.5 in another area. So
that's true, yeah.
That's where the rumor there's that rumor about population control, but I mean that happens actually way more often than you think. So it is like an actual reasonable theory, in my opinion. But
again, that supports the whole idea that I had of like it needs to be more AI driven. Like it needs, like I hate saying it, but you need to take that human error out of something like that, because at that point you're literally, I mean, you're going anywhere from a $500 card to a $15,000 card in some cases, based off of that 0.5 that is subjective to human error. So that's, I don't know. I am a firm believer, like you were saying, they need some sort of revamp.
If only there was an AI to also detect whether the card was also previously graded.
So I was told that PSA, and I don't know how accurate this is because I've never tested it, but I don't think it's true. But somebody told me that PSA started putting a light, almost like a watermark on the card, So if it did get graded, then they would know that this card had already been previously graded by them. I don't know how accurate that is.
It's a DNA pen that will show up a unique DNA under a certain black light. I'm not too sure what they use it for, other than usually PSA DNA for authenticating signatures. I don't know if they actually do that on card, unless if you were to send the card as like a PSA DNA cut card or cut signature type for authentication.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Now,
It's to differentiate, like, let's say you were to make a fake PSA DNA sticker and plop it on a fake signature. Then that signature itself, or the paper that it was signed on, doesn't show up on the blue light, then you got a fake.
And just so, and I see a lot of talk about PSA in the chat, just so you guys know, like on the grading scale for a PSA 10, you don't have to have like 50-50 on centering. It's 60-40. So you can have some slight shifting. But I can tell you right now with PSA, if you can even see a single white mark, that thing's not getting a 10. If you can see any flaw with your eye, there is no way it's getting a 10. Just like Matt said that he took a CGC 9.5 and sent it and it got an 8. That's so the way PSA works is, it takes the 4 categories: centering, surface, corners, and edges. Now, if you have a flaw on a corner, that's going to be an auto 9. If you have another flaw, and let's say it's on the edge, that is an auto 8 automatically, because you have a flaw in 2 separate categories. So you can have a small white dot on a corner, and another corner can have a small white dot, and it can still get a 9. But if it's in 2 separate areas, it's getting an 8. If there's any type of dent, any like pressure where you can tell the card was pushed in at all, that thing's coming back a 6. They view that as damage, and that's that. So PSA is more like, each grading company grades differently. But I honestly think when you have a PSA 10, that is just saying, there's no visual flaws. There's no, and they look, when Pokemon started getting first fake edition stamps put on their cards, PSA actually had to increase their magnification, which actually made it more harsh on vintage Pokemon cards. So a lot of vintage saw a drop in the grading process because of that. So PSA is looking at these cards under a lot of resolution. And one other thing I want to point out is, if there's a common flaw on a card, so with MetaZoo, if you look at a lot of MetaZoo cards on the top left corner, you'll see like a white mark. You can see a white mark usually, right? So that is a factory printing error. And it's so common that PSA, the factory that prints MetaZoo cards, confirmed with PSA that is a normal thing from their facility. So they will overlook that white mark that's there. So I went to PSA, maybe like a year ago, and I actually spoke to them in person, and I asked them about that specifically, because I had some 10s that came back, and I'm like, but the white's clearly visible. Like, how the heck did this get a 10? And that's when the rep told me that they had, and I wish I could have remembered this, but there was a card that for the longest time, it had a dot on one of the borders, every card, and it kept coming back an 8, kept coming back 8s, no 10s. Well, the whatever TCG that was had the factory confirm it with PSA, and then after that, all those cards that came through were all grading 10s. So if you could find, that's why I want to remember it, because I want to find the old cert 8s and crack them and resub, and it would get a 10. Look, you guys are checking your cards.
I know, right?
But it's kind of crazy.
It's true.
If I'm going to send the card out, I am. If the only thing is that little white on the top left, I'll send it, because has a solid shot still. So
crazy.
Agreed with TCG Island.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went on a rambling Rob.
Nah, it's good.
Yeah,
I mean, hey,
it
we
was good. It
discovered
was
something.
nice to be on the other end
Yeah.
and listening to it for once instead of being the one monologuing like a villain.
So yeah, and Jody pointing out the 40-60 on the back. It's 70-30, so it can be even more OC on the back and still pull a 10. So yeah, that's. And I
Cards
think
are meant to be played.
PSA 9, I want to say is it 90-10? I think it's like crazy. Can be crazy off-centered. Cards are meant to be played.
That's why I ripped open the Mania that I had. I was like, "Foop, we're using this in the tower."
Cards are meant to be played, just like boxes are meant to be opened.
Why? Wait. Time out. Why are boxes meant to be open, Alan?
Because you should never keep anything sealed.
There it is.
Yeah.
You got to free the serialized rares.
Because serialized rares are real.
They're real. I kid you not. I do that every time you do that in the Discord. They're real. All right. So that was a crazy segue for a minute going on greeting.
Yes.
So back to SR Master Alan over here. What has been the so you talked about the website. You talked about actually creating the website, working with Jody at MetaZoo HQ at the beginning, and then kind of just like jumping out there with the whole website. What has been probably, I want to say, let's start off this way. What's been the hardest thing with actually amassing the information, the pictures, things of that nature when it regards to the secret rares tracking?
Ooh. I mean, with Green Man, it was there wasn't a distinction between them other than the serialized rares. So it's always just making sure that the photo that I get sent is not one that I already have. But I mean, the biggest thing is just really creating the website at first. I think that would just be it. Making sure that everything's all compiled with each other. I mean, the website was easy when it came to one set, and then when it came to a second set and a third set. I mean, other than having the community to be able to help me with anytime serialized rares are pulled, I also do my little bit of research. So, I mean, every single day I am in a lot of different Facebook groups, UK Facebook groups. I am in just Canadian ones, US, all around US. I am in multiple Discord channels. I think I remember at one time I was in maybe 6 to 7 different Discord channels,
Oh, wow.
10 to 15 different sales groups, and just searching multiple things, searching the word serialized rares in all of them, searching secrets, searching certain beasties names, and just the word alternate art, alt, just making sure that there's something that I didn't miss. I think that was always the tough part, but it was always the fun part because you get to see what everybody else posts.
Nice. So with the transition from wilderness to UFO, what would you say was probably the hardest thing transitioning from, like, basically like you were saying, going from one set to then 2 sets? What would you say would be like the hardest thing actually about that transition?
I think it's in between the set releases because there's a lot of ambiguity. You don't know what's in the latest set. You know, from that time where something new hasn't come out yet, you're not too sure what you're looking for. At the same time, I mean, when UFO did come out, it was helpful that there was a couple of cards that were accidentally, sent off. It was helpful with the space, the cards entering into space photo. So, but not knowing what cards you were looking for, I think, was the hardest part. Not knowing what products are being opened and where they're coming from was also the next hardest part as well. Because am I doing all of the search and coming up blank because I'm not looking for the right thing?
That makes sense. Yeah, and I remember actually when when Chris actually reached out to me and he was like, he was telling me the whole idea about the Majestic 12 from UFO and how each one of them actually had a constellation on it, and him and I were losing our minds because of going through and looking at all of it. I remember reaching out to you and being like, I need you to send me every picture you have. And the crazy thing with that, though, is you're right, is that we did have the video of the cards in space to actually kind of go off of a little bit to pin, like, there's a couple that we're still unsure of, because like I think there's like what, four Majestic 12 we haven't seen yet. And like we kind of had a good idea because of the picture or the video from space, but even then it was super blurry and it was kind of hard to figure out exactly which one was what. Yeah, I can't believe we still haven't seen four of them, four different ones.
What skew? What's the most common skew for UFO to have a SR pulled?
You know what? I don't have that information right off the bat, but I gotta say, when it came to UFO, it was really fun tracking it, because they were really just coming out of any and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the fact that somebody was lining up at Long Beach and bought a random blister and pulled a gargantuan glider alternate art was really cool.
Wasn't the first one pulled actually in Roswell too? I can't remember. I thought there was one pulled at like a pre-release event.
About that, actually,
I don't remember about that.
Okay, because I thought there was one that was actually pulled at a pre-release event or actually in Salem, but I couldn't remember. I just remember they were popping out quick right when UFO first dropped. They actually were coming out really, really quick.
They were, yeah. I think that was a fun one because within a week or two, we saw our first one, the live pulled within days after release.
MetaZoo
non-stop, yeah.
MetaZoo saying that the first one was pulled actually at the release event that he went to. Yeah, it was Groro. That's right.
Seattle. Yep. Tabletop games in Seattle. That's correct.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Now the Goro was one that we already known because of the distributor.
Wasn't that the Wilderness Binders? Didn't they come with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's two that we already knew, right? The Foo Fighters and also Gauro, which was released during the binder.
Mothhawk, you better open every single one of those, but make sure you record it when you do.
I'm about to do it on stream.
He's about to just right now, as you're actually talking, he's be like, "Rip! All right, let's look through some cards."
But yeah, seriously, I mean, if you have UFO, there's no better time to open, because we still have UFO that hasn't been pulled. That's a speculated card, right? We also have Lechuza that have not been seen yet.
Mike the Headless Chicken, Leo. I hope
Chicken.
that one is Leo.
Yeah. And then the next one is another the either the Grays, or as some people might think, it's Old Saybrook's Blockhead. But I am leaning towards Gray because of the back of the box for UFO.
Okay.
If anybody remember that, well, Mike and I was talking about earlier, but the back of the box, which Ian showed me previously, when
all right, hold on one second, I got one. I'm gonna find one.
Hold on, I got one right here. There.
Ugh. Yeah, I stared at this box at Super Galactic for like 5 months, and then opened it last night, and it was so bad. All right, so on the back of the box, you said the Grays?
Yeah, so if you look at the three of the four cards were later revealed as alternate art. So we got Gargantuan Gliders, we have Black Demon, Robo Flowers, and then the fourth card is Grace.
Oh, wow, you're right.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Has not followed that suit that we know of.
Wait, say that again?
Seance booster boxes, the four cards on the back, does not follow that yet that we know of, which is very exciting too.
See, I think we've only seen 25% maybe of the different, not in total. I'm talking about the different ones in totality. Like, I think we've only seen 25% of the actual secret rares from Seance. And I was talking about that last night in the booster box that I ripped. I honestly feel a vast majority of that is because people aren't opening up reverse holo packs. Like they're not opening up reverse holo booster boxes. They'll open up a master case, see that this is going to be all reverse holo, and they'll skip it. And my thing is that that's where I think all of a lot of the serialized rares are, the secret rares, all like the redeemables, like for the ring and everything like that. Or just because a booster box is a full reverse holo box does not mean it is not seeded with a secret rare or a serialized rare. Like I've been very vocal about that the last 2 months.
Did we hear about that? The redeemable.
Oh well, that's a speculated.
You confirmed it.
I had no. Don't put that juju on me, Ricky Bobby. It's been my theory. It's been my theory though since November that the ring that Mike actually shared at Collecticon that I've been trying to decipher now for 2 months.
There's 3.
There are 3. There's a solid. There's a gold, a rose gold, and a bronze one.
Andy has one. Mike has one.
And I'm not sure who has the third one. I don't know if it's Shaw or Aoki. It might be one of those two. I'm not sure. And again, that's all speculative. Don't nobody quote me. We know Mike and Andy have one. We don't know who has the third one.
Yeah.
But I've always said though that those are redeemables in Seance. And they've never corrected me, and of course I don't know if they would, but yeah, they've never corrected me or said anything like that. And they have said that I believe they've said that there are redeemables in Seance. So it would make sense that it's actually the ring, because the ring plays such an important role in the MetaZoo storyline, in my opinion.
I honestly think that there is something super amazing that we have not seen yet, hidden in Seance. I've also said this quite often, that when the product was first released, that there might be something extra hidden within the booster boxes. Then we started seeing a lot of serialized rares coming out of blister packs, which then a lot of people jumped into blister packs, and we started seeing even more. But if it is, there's 2 serialized rares came out of theme decks, which was MetaZoo, Dean, and Matt. 2 of them, but that's the non-blister products that was confirmed with a serialized rare.
Yeah, and I
have not seen anything
after that. So thank you, Dean and Matt, because I went through that happened.
But think about it. We have not seen something come out of a booster box.
Yep.
Nope.
And again, Mike and I were talking actually about this last night. Look, Dean's like, it was me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's ironic because Mike and I were actually honestly talking about this exact thing last night, where I want to say Seance honestly is probably the only MetaZoo set where more theme decks, blisters, and REBs have been open per capita versus booster boxes. People open up the 27, 36 booster full holo booster boxes. They'll even open up the 18, maybe sometime the 9. But again, like I was saying, I don't know anybody that's like me that's like, oh, you have a reverse holo booster box? I'll take it. Because again, I'm like I said, a firm believer that some of those secret rares, some of those redeemables are in those booster boxes.
Yeah. My first speculation initially was that we were hopefully going to see the very first non-beastie serialized rares. Okay. Right? Because it was also going off on the 4 cards in the back, where we saw a few artifacts. And that still stands to this day. We have not seen anything come out of the booster boxes. We haven't seen anything that tells us that it's not true. Right?
That would be really interesting to actually have like some sort of serialized, because on the back of it, just so you guys know, it's Reaper's Crown, and then it's also the effigy token. Is that the token? No, that's not the effigy token. That's I can't remember the name of the card, but it's the one that actually generates the effigy tokens, I believe. And that would be really interesting to actually see those as serialized rares, because you're right, we've never actually seen a non-beastie serialized card, unless you want to count red ink, blue ink. But again, technically, you're right, they're not serialized; they're star rares. There's a difference between them.
And at the same time, Seance had a very big old scratch influence as well. So to not see a the cards are. I'm drawing a blank on the card. Chain. Oh my goodness.
Chains of Old Scratch.
Yeah. To not see a fun serialized alternate or anything that is related to that card yet seems pretty interesting if you think about it.
Same thing with Satanic Panic, in my opinion. I think Satanic Panic is one of the best cards art-wise in the set.
No, Cisco Ram. Booster boxes have hollows as well. Yeah.
Yeah, the issue with Seance was that when the distributors were actually packaging up all the boxes, they for some reason didn't actually mix the boxes up to be true random like they had before in the past. And so you can honestly take a Seance booster boxes, it's well known now, and open up the first 4 packs, and those first 4 packs will tell you how many full hollows you're going to have, because whatever pack you open that has a full hollow in it, that same pack art will have a full hollow in the rest of the booster box. Now, saying that, the NFT boxes are not traceable at all. I don't like using the word mappable because it's not mappable. Mappable is what they were doing back in the day with Magic the Gathering, where you would open up a booster pack and you would know exactly what card was coming after each one. That's mapping. This is considered tracing, in my opinion, because you can tell where exactly some of the full hollows will be.
But I think it. Yeah, and a lot of people harped on that, and there's no reason to harp on that. It was because it
wasn't even MetaZoo's fault, to be honest with you. And trust me, MetaZoo is not going to let that happen again.
Well, no, it was multiple TCGs that you could map. There were all these TCGs coming out at the same time at this time, and they all had an issue. So I'm thinking it had something to do with manufacturing. If it was in the same factory. Or
I mean, Pokemon had the same thing at one time too, right? With Sun and Moon when it first came out. If you open the first few packs and there was a hollow in there, then every 3 or 4 packs afterwards had.
A Cora.
Oh, yeah.
With the Cora, you could.
I watched actually a buddy of mine go to Walmart, and he had a system to where he would count. He would wait for them to restock. Okay. And then after the restock, he would go up to the actual row of blisters and he would count. And then he'd take that one. And then he would count a little bit more and take that one. And I kid you not, my man pulled so many huge hits. And I'm sitting here going, how do you do that? He's like, it's just a numbers thing. They put them in the box in a certain way. And if you count the certain number all the way to that certain blister, you can pull that blister out and boom, you got yourself a rainbow rare, or you got yourself the hit of the set. And it was kind of ridiculous how often he would do that. And I wouldn't have believed it unless I actually saw it with my own eyes.
Yeah. And we don't encourage it.
No, not at all. That's the thing though, is that again, it's just like MetaZoo, I feel like Pokemon actually learned, you can't use that counting trick anymore if you go to a store right after a restock. And same thing with what happened with Seance. MetaZoo's not going to make that mistake again. That's one of the things that actually, in my opinion, spurred MetaZoo to actually create their own printing basically capacity, like what they're doing right now with the same thing that kind of happened with the Kickstarter WPT stuff. And they're like, fine, we're going to print it in-house. We're going to have our own specific hollow patterns. We're sorry it's going to take a little bit longer, but we're going to actually just do this ourselves so we can make sure it gets right. And that's something that we talked about actually in the Gary interview too, where I love the fact that whenever MetaZoo makes any sort of mistake, they never make that same mistake ever again. They don't. And that's something I really appreciate about them.
Yeah, no, I can tell you now, that was you gotta just look at things, right? I kind of look at how everything's going, right? So we were talking about Wilderness, low hits, right? Low hit ratio, low full hollow ratio, right? And then what set did you get? UFO. What was that? Hollow heavy, right? 30 full hollows is common, right? 30 plus hollows is common. And then you get into Seance, and I feel like they were trying to, it's kind of almost like evening out the hits, right? Making it a good hit ratio per box. And that's just what happened. And again, going back, they fixed the NFT boxes like that. And the whole thing was just, it was everybody forgets MetaZoo is a brand new company, man. Holding to the standards of 20 plus year companies, it's crazy.
I love it. I love that people do that though, man, because it actually, if people are comparing them to Pokemon and to Wizards of the Coast and to even like I saw somebody actually make a Lorcana comment to even Disney and with Lorcana, like if they're comparing them to these huge behemoths of a company, MetaZoo's doing something right. I mean, they're doing, and I'll be honest with you, I honestly really feel, and this is going to be a really bold claim, but I honestly really feel that Magic the Gathering specifically, they're moving towards serialized rares like they've done with the last, like they did one before in one set and two previous before, and they got them coming in again with March of the Machines, again with Lord of the Rings. They did that because of MetaZoo, and you cannot convince me they didn't. Like that they made that move because they saw MetaZoo doing it. I'm fully convinced. Can't convince, but can't change my mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's also one thing to have this happen. You know, it's can't go back now. But it's also another thing that's really cool that they have addressed it. They're changing, doing something about it. I mean, it's very easy to just, great, everybody's messaging about this, we'll sweep it under the rug, and then if it gets fixed, it'll get fixed. But it's, I mean, it was addressed. Mike talks about it openly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know, for a relatively new company, that's pretty awesome for that to happen.
Well, the way that they were able to correct it with the NFT boxes too.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I mean, because if it was going to be an issue, it would have affected the NFT boxes as well. So it was really impressive they were able to switch that around like before those boxes even were shipped.
Yeah.
So
no, it's just like our last interview, right? With Gary, he already said that Mike is a, you know, smart, driven, like just, and I can tell you now, like that's why I stand by MetaZoo, man, because of the team. I know that everybody, it's, you know, you can do a million right things and then mess up one thing, and everybody's going to focus on that. Like that's all they're going to care about. Then you could do a whole bunch of good stuff after that, and it's expected, right? So that's the thing. Is there's levels of standard. So and clearly there's people out there that hold MetaZoo to like this. You can't even see my arm, but like it's just it's crazy. And like, you know, even like talking about fixing things, right? Like, I mean, look at UFO and Seance Revive already packaged, ready to be shipped out. You know, that's the thing. Like I said, it's a newer company. They're listening to the community. Clearly.
Well, that was one thing that I actually brought up with Gary, was that when we were talking with him, was that the reason, because I've heard people getting upset, like, oh, where is UFO Revive? Where is Seance Revive? And it's like, guys, they said that they were not going to put them up for sale until they had them in hand because of what happened with the Wilderness Revive. So it's not like they don't want to put them up. It's one of those things where they want to be able to guarantee that you're not waiting 6 to 8 months for this box because of a distributor, because of a printing company or something like that. And like, I would much rather wait to purchase a product than actually purchase the product and then wait 9 months to a year for it because of whatever problem. I mean, because I know most people don't want to admit it still, but we're still running into a few logistic problems because of the ramp up after COVID. It's going to fully take like the planet, the world, a solid 2 to 3 years to fully get back to where we were pre-pandemic.
Oh yeah, and I say this all the time, even in outside of TCG.
Your telecom stuff, dude. You tell me all the time about it.
Well, no, I was going to talk about just you know, different electrical stuff that I need, you know, for my job. Like, and it's like a, you know, I'll bid a contract, I'll win, and then they'll come back and then say there'll be a part on back order, right? Multiple parts, and it's typically with fiber optic equipment, but like that, and that all started at the beginning of COVID. Mm-hmm. So now, and they're way more expensive. So and so I'll have to tell the customer, hey, we're going to have to push this part of the project back 2 weeks. You know, it's out of my hands, but they may be mad at me like I did something wrong, but really somebody else is making something for me that I need. And it's on back order because of some either logistics, some sort of shipping error, some sort of whatever it may be. Like, but that is, and a lot of people forget that. Like MetaZoo they aren't cutting these cards themselves and doing all this stuff themselves. They have a third party that's doing all that. So I mean,
I mean, Mike explained how he made the prototypes and stuff like that in the interview with me, but he ain't at home printing off the cards at his house or anything with a printer anymore, guys. Like, yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, it also helps the community, right? I mean, every one of us have felt like we've been affected with the whole entire people coming into the Discord and asking when, which is fun, right? It's our meme. It's something that we do. But when it comes to the same question, and you see people like Streamy and a few of us has bar just trying to answer those questions, but it gets overwhelming as well when it comes to just people coming in and they're not even avid Discord members. They come in, ask about this, why isn't this here, why isn't that there, and then they disappear. So I think for something like this with a revive, it's really a great step going forward. It helps them, it helps the community, and it also shows that change is happening.
I'll be honest though, the big product that I'm actually awaiting besides native is the PFP boxes, because again we'll have serialized rares in them. We'll have one of ones. I got 4 boxes.
Okay.
So I have 4 regular boxes, and I just found out that I think Slippy is actually going to hook me up with 1 NFT box. Which I'm kind of, I can't remember. I think Slippy was the one telling me. So I know I'm ripping every single one of them. I don't keep anything sealed, like in the spirit of you, like everything. The only thing I have sealed, honestly, is a 1 booster box of Cryptid Nation 1, and it's because it's honestly going to pay for my kids' college one day.
Redding's in there.
So find me another one that I can trade for, and I will open up the one on there. But I have to keep at least 1 sealed because that is literally college tuition. But everything else, though, I have a hard time keeping anything else sealed. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, I have ripped everything in my house except for that 1 booster box. So I can't wait for those PFP boxes, man. I'm gonna get me one of ones, and you're gonna put me on your website. Because out of the three of us right here, I am the only one that's not on your website, and I'm really upset that I can't put
walking spams. It's pretty crazy though. The walking spams group where quite a few of us have had serialized rares, and you got to think about that's pretty crazy. We got the products all over the world. You got this group of just how many members do we have now? I don't know,
35, 30, maybe something like that. Yeah,
and I think at least 5 to 6 of us have had our serialized rare pull on the website.
Or if you're Captain Asia or Happy Kitty, you got 2. I mean,
right?
Or if you're CNO, you don't realize you pulled one.
Hey, at least you weren't the guy at the beginning, though. Remember the guy at the beginning, whoever it was, that posted the first one on eBay for like $50? Like, and that's what made everybody in the community like go, oh my god, and everybody ran back to their collections collectively and checked everything. You could feel it in the earth. I'm the only one out of the 3 of us that hasn't actually really ever held a secret rare in their hands. Sad day.
I still think though, when something gets announced from Seance, that people, and hopefully people, will jump back onto the booster boxes.
Hey, if they don't want the reverse hollow booster boxes, my email address is in the description. Hit me up. I want your reverse hollow boxes because I want to prove that there is some sort of SR in Seance. Do not boo me, Dean. That is rude.
A Chains of Old Scratch numbered to 66.
Ooh,
that would be so cool. Just to get that 6 out of 66 Chains of Old Scratch.
Right?
Yeah.
Dude, that would be the one. That would be the one to get. I don't know. See, I would almost actually would want a more, like I said, Satanic Panic, actually, though. Like, I swear, Satanic Panic, I think, is my favorite artwork in that. I mean, Fireship of Day Shalors is my favorite card, of course, just because it's fun to say and it makes the direct reference to 7 Seas. But yeah, Satanic Panic. And again, shout out to Cutthroat Zoo, who at Water Tower actually, he gave me one. I still got to send him some stuff for trade, but that was the last of the Hateful Eight I actually needed was the Satanic Panic. And he surprised me with that thing at the Water Tower. Yeah, so that's so what do you what are your thoughts actually? Let's jump into we'll go back to the PFP boxes, but what are your thoughts on native SRs? Because I have some ideas, but I'm interested to hear yours first.
That's a tricky one. I mean, we're now into the 4th series for serialized rares, right? So we've seen an exclusive card, and that was Green Man. We've seen alternate rares. We've seen different multi-holo patterns. I think Native's going to be really fun. I think there's going to be, and hopefully more than one different type of rarity, because I think that was loosely hinted at something that was going to be very special, and I think.
Oh, so you think there might be like a 1 of 100, and then there'll be like a 1 of 1,000 type deal?
Hoping.
Ooh.
There's a lot of different things that can be played with, but I really think that they're gonna try something very special.
That's interesting too, because that's something that CNO and I were talking actually about recently too. How what would be a good balance to keep a secret rare pool still as special as a secret rare pool, but make them more accessible, if you will, to the community, to where more of them are seen. Because again, like we talked about before in this, like there are 4 that we still haven't seen from UFO. We still haven't actually seen the silver ticket from Wilderness. We haven't seen, like, in my opinion, 70-75% of the actual SRs from Seance. So what do you think would be a good mix to make it still an exclusive thing, but make it more accessible to more members of the community?
I am hoping, because like same thing with the thought of Seance, right? There's the alternate holo pattern serialized rares. There's got to be something hidden inside booster boxes. But I'm hoping that Native will have something that's fun yet accessible. So it wouldn't even be far-fetched to think that there would be 2 different types of serialized rares, secret rares, or just alternate arts. I think that would be definitely something really cool. They did hint at having artwork done by special people in correct me, I'm Native artwork that was done. I'm wondering if that is going to be put into a special set, or if that's going to be in the main set.
I think some of that honestly was going to be revealed at the gala. I think that some of the stuff that they were talking to and alluding to about that is the original artwork that might be sold there. Because I know that they are. I don't know if it would be all 33 indigenous tribes that are represented in Native, though, because the gala is directly funding the Hopi Educational Foundation. But that's something that I've actually mentioned to a couple people. I think that we will, at minimum, I think we're going to see 33 different variant secret rares because of the 33. They've been very vocal about 33 tribes.
Yeah.
And so I think we're going to see at least, at minimum, 33 different SRs.
I mean, it's definitely possible. With Seance, we have seen so far, what leads to every beastie having an alternate holo pattern. So it's definitely something that's really cool. I'm also wondering if we're going to see exclusive serialized rares that are not beasties.
Yeah.
Just like my thought with Seance, I think that would probably be a very important part of Native. We might see artifacts that are going to have alternate versions. Definitely not far-fetched out of the way. I think it's something that's super doable. I think it'll be very exciting to see when the first one gets pulled.
I'm interested to see if because I think it's good. Like I was saying, I think it's going to be 33 different SRs. I think each tribe is going to have one represented to them. I am interested, like you're saying, though, if there are going to be beasties, if they're going to be artifacts, or if they're even going to be their own standalone beastie. Because, like, you have to think, all of the 33 tribes that they included in Native, they only were able to scratch the surface on the actual true lore. It's one of the reasons I started doing the Legendary Collection videos, is because even though the story doesn't directly have anything to do with MetaZoo, it's still highlighting the specific tribe that something came from. And those, like, again, each tribe has so many different stories. It'd be really interesting, in my opinion, if there are exclusive beasties or artifacts or things of that nature related to those tribes. And each one is like a cultural icon of that tribe of some sort. Just another extra way to try to like honor that tribe in essence, and who it is, what they were, things like that. Like you said, the possibilities are endless when that actually comes. There's just because again, they only can scratch the surface when it comes to the lore, the actual storyline and lore of these tribes, because each one has their own individual unique story.
For sure, yeah. I mean, I can't wait for you to cover more and more.
Dude, I'll be honest. I think MetaZoo storyline wise, when it comes to native, I don't think it is. And I say this loosely. This is probably going to come out wrong. I don't think it's as exciting as something like Seance, Nightfall, War. Native, in my opinion, storyline wise, is Sam's big moment that he needs to go and learn some sort of maneuver, some sort of ability, contract, some sort of specific beastie in order to go back to actually have that final battle against the dark casters, if you will, in War. Because like War, in my opinion, is the battle between light and dark. We see that with the Mothman from the streamer kit that they teased with that one playmat. We saw the white and the purple black Mothman. That is the literal battle between light and dark, in my opinion. And Native is there. Like Native is the entire journey of Sam realizing his inner true power by interacting with these tribes and these deities in order to come back out east in order to actually try to actually stop darkness once and for all. I just ruined Native, everybody. That's the storyline of Native.
No, that was great.
Do we know how many? Well, I know we don't know yet, but I wonder if there's going to be like 33 beastie deities, and those are going to be.
That's a good question. I haven't actually gone through and counted because we don't have the full card set list yet. But everybody keeps asking me like, well, what do you think about Native? What do you think? What are your thoughts? And my thoughts are, I'm super impressed because once again, MetaZoo was able to take something that there were very few beastie deities before Native. And now a lot of what we have seen is very deity focused. Yeah, yes, there are demons. Yes, there are fearsome critters. Yes, there are humanoids, all of that. But Native is very, in my opinion, deity focused. And a lot of the artifacts actually, like they pull certain deities from your afterlife, or they pull them from your spell book and they put them in your hand, or they do something and give them this. So I'm really interested to see the focus on the deities, because again, I don't know. I'm just like Alinok, things like that. I'm really interested because some of these are creator gods, if you will, of some of these native tribes. So I'm interested to see how they fully interact, like not just in the card game, but with the storyline in general too. Because you got to think, if these deities are existing right now, then that means that other deities from other regions of the planet are existing at the same time. And so that just opens up a ton of, that opens up, in my opinion, just a maelstrom of lore when you start looking at it like that, because you're like, oh, well, if these guys are over here doing this, then what are they doing on the other side of the planet? And we've only been focused on Cryptid Nation. So we honestly have no idea what the state of Yokai Island is. We have no idea what the state of Grimm's Kingdom is. We have no idea what the state of Australia is. It's probably business as usual. We just no idea like about the state of anywhere else in the world. And so it just brings up a lot of, I like the idea of them doing a set semi-focused on the deities.
It'll be kind of hard to guess. I mean, I don't think anybody would have guessed. Or did they announce about the constellations that were on the cards in
No, that was something that Dad had actually brought up to me and showed me, and then I made an entire video. I made a theory video like that night about.
I love how they do that though. Like,
and it even went even deeper too, because UFO also has the planetary alignment Terra, which it kind of, in my opinion, it was telling the story of something significant that had to happen in order for the second seal in Seance to be able to be broken. Whether that is the Majestic 12 actually either being in our solar system, the Majestic 12 being freed, but each one of them went with a specific constellation, like in the Zodiac. So the Zodiac actually has something to do with it as well, which in turn ties into, and it always goes back to, I always bring it up, Solomon's Ring, because of the different seals that Solomon had in the lesser key of Solomon and the Book of Solomon. All of the planets are actually recognized with different seals and other stuff like that. So there's a lot. I can't wait for the book, to be honest with you, because there's so much that we don't know right now. And to be honest with you, where we are right now in the story with getting into native, we're not going to get that part of the book, like that part of the Cryptid Nation story, until about this time next year. Because the first book comes out in June, July, second book comes out towards the end of the year. And then this is about the time, I think, that the third part of Cryptid Nation block is supposed to come out in the book. So we won't really know fully what's going on here until another year from now, which I love because I get to speculate and make up crazy theories for the next year.
More content.
Yeah, dude, more content. I'm so focused. I haven't made a real theory video in a while because I'm so focused on that ring. Like that ring is really bugging me. It's really bugging me, man.
Side note, this is what I was talking about earlier. Arbiter 360 was asking, could the SRs be indigenous drawn alt art depicting their true forms?
Ooh, that would be really cool. Now, do you think they're actually? And that's a crazy thing too, is that even if they actually, let's say they actually do have 33 separate SRs, and let's say they actually limit those to 1,000 each, or sorry, 100 each. That's still 3,300 SRs. That's more SRs, I think. I'll go out on a limb, actually, even and say that's more SRs than even Seance. But that's still a small enough number that it would still give you that type of feeling of pulling one of those secret rares. Because, I mean, it's still, I mean, you got to think, if they can be in any SKU, I mean, you got 50,000 booster boxes to begin with, and then everything else just goes up from there. So, like, you still stand a very small chance of actually pulling one of them. But they would make it more accessible. We would see more of them. You'd be able to update your website way more and quicker. I can tell you're ready, man. You are ready.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I want to see serialized rares pulled. I want to update it. I want to celebrate with the community. I want to celebrate with that person. But speaking of that, I do have a question for you and everybody else. Like, speaking of the serialized rares and what we think, what's your favorite type of serialized rare right now? We've seen 3. Do you like the exclusivity? Do you like the alternate artwork that people can still have the common version of them to be able to enter into decks? If we were to see another exclusive card, what do we think? Playability? Should it be lesser playability, a little bit higher, which might cause a little bit of a fun controversy a little bit? Or
I don't think it should be any more powerful than a regular card, because what that's going to do is that's eventually going to price out certain people from certain events. And I'm a big proponent about, yes, you can make certain cards that are super powerful that actually will be worth a good amount of money. Possessor, for example, right now, it's worth $250, $240. But to make it a requirement almost, for example, I have to put a red ink in a deck in order to stand a chance to win, I honestly wouldn't go to that tournament, because there's no way I can afford a red ink. So I think making powerful cards that can be used in a tournament setting would, honestly, I think it would hurt in the long run, just because it would price out a vast majority of the community.
Yeah, but at that, I mean, play devil's advocate to that. I think, again, yeah, like not everybody can afford a red ink. I mean, a red ink is a very, very playable card, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've actually witnessed it win tournaments.
There was somebody that actually was using a red ink. I think was it Easton? I can't remember. There's somebody who was using a red ink actually at Water Tower too. I can't remember who it was.
Oh yeah, there's people that are putting posts up on Facebook through the various MetaZoo groups and literally saying, "I'm buying blue inks. They don't care what condition they're in as long as they're playable," and they're spending. One post had it for $1,000 each. So like, if there's a small mark on the card or something, or they think it may be, viewed a certain way, or it's going to get a low grade, they might just sell it right away. But there's somebody put a feeler post up the other day looking for red inks and blue inks, and they were wanting to buy as many as possible. So, and I know they're doing it for tournament use. So,
and I mean, I can kind of understand red ink and blue ink since they're already out, but moving forward, I honestly, like I said, I think in the long run it would hurt some competitive pet play, because unless you are part of a team that actually has money, or you have money yourself, or something along those lines, like there's no way, again, I would be able to afford a red ink if I needed it for a competition.
Well, just as well as I do that a lot of the times with, MetaZoo, I can't speak on other TCGs because I've never played another TCG, but, playing MetaZoo, I've beaten people that are like way better than me, but it was because of luck of the draw. Like they weren't pulling any aura. They weren't pulling anything like that. And I'm sitting here pulling, in my initial 7 cards, I've got, 3 aura and, 2 artifacts that generate more aura. Right. And so I'm off the rip, an aura, 2 artifacts. So my next turn, I'm going to 2, 4, 6. I'll have 6 aura starting on my turn 2. So it's just it's all luck of the draw for the most part. But I don't know, some of these other guys that are like really experienced, man, they seem to get to the top every time, man. So I don't know.
Well, in regards to the way that, like you asked about the way they looked, I'm kind of on the fence, because honestly with you, I like the idea of them being an exclusive card like Green Man or Old Scratch, but I really like also the alt art aspect of like Seance, for example, with the different hollow foil pattern in the background, the actual different art that was in the UFO. So I mean, I in my opinion, especially the way that you were talking about, like with a tiered system, I would honestly love to see like an amalgamation, if you will, of all of it, to where you have the standalone secret rare, if you want to, that's like a Green Man or a Red Ink or something of that nature. But then you also have the serialized aspect. But then you have, like, you could have 20, like they did with Seance. You could have 20 of specific ones, but then take those same ones, or you could even use different ones if you wanted to, and make 10 that are alt arts of something. Like, make it differentiated. It doesn't have to be just one per set. You can actually incorporate all of that into a core set. And that would be honestly really cool, because then we'd have no, I mean, saying that though, I want to say my favorite secret rares to date are the tickets. Like, I love the idea of the Willy Wonka golden ticket. I like the golden ticket, the silver ticket, and the bronze ticket are probably my 3 favorite secret rares, because they actually give you something. The gold ticket gives you equity into the company. The silver ticket gives you a proto moth, and then the bronze ticket gives you a Kickstarter booster box, which I have no idea how you would redeem those. But I like the idea of some sort of utility with the secret rare or with the serialized rare. But yeah, I would say I personally would love some sort of amalgamation of everything we've seen so far in one set. Just keep everybody guessing. And I mean, that's the thing too, is that you could recreate that in every single set moving forward. And you would always keep people guessing because they'd have no idea. Well, which are the ones that are going to be serialized to 20? Which are the ones that are going to be serialized to 10? What's the actual secret rare for the set? Like it's kind of like what they're doing with the PFP boxes. To circle back to the PFP boxes, like they're doing the 7 different hollow patterns on the boxes. There's one of ones, there's one of 10s, one of 100s. There's PFP redeemables, NFT redeemables. Like there's so much. It's honestly going to take us a solid month to figure out exactly what those PFP boxes have in them, just because of the mayhem they're going to create when we actually open them.
Captain Asia brought up the meteorite pins, so I threw that up. I put Alan's buddy right next to him, like coming at him. Somebody said he was mad at him, so I made sure to have him going. But how many of the meteorite pins are there? Is it 100?
Yeah, there's 100. Yeah, I think we've so far only seen 15 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just double check here.
And what is it? Is it made out of actual meteorite?
Yep.
That's the case on those, right? Yeah.
If I had to pick one to actually put in my pocket, it would be one of those pins. I wouldn't even want the serialized card. I just want the pin.
20 meteorites out of the 100 has been publicly recorded reported. Yeah.
And 2 of them, Captain Asia actually owns.
Happy Kitty, I think. Yeah.
Well, no, Captain Asia, I think, has 2, and then Happy pulled one, and then Happy's brother pulled the other.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Cap has 2.
Now, the neat thing about the meteorites is that we do have an alternate art version that's not serialized, that didn't come with a meteorite pin. I do like that, though. I really did like that. Surprisingly, that does come up in my inbox quite often when somebody pulls one of those, and just they will email me and ask, why did mine not come with a serialized numbering?
Yeah, Epic actually pulled what I think Area 51. I think he pulled that one for Phantasma.
Yeah.
I saw that one pulled live too, and I was so jealous. I was like, no, that should have been mine. Oh my god, those pins are so amazing. Actually, I got to see one too. Oh my god, they're so amazing. They're so amazing. Anything to do with space, count me in, man. That's that's why I like the Majestic 12, the whole space where the whole idea, like the first thing I tell people, because I always, whenever I'm at the shop and I'm always trying to explain MetaZoo, I'm trying to tell some of the crazy stuff they do. And I always tell them about the serialized rares and the secret rares and stuff like that. But the first ones I always explain are the space rares from UFO. Just because you tell somebody that they sent 120 cards into space and they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, they literally sent these 120 cards into space.
And don't forget, the foil on every single box has
every single booster box. That's why I have not thrown away a single UFO booster box because of that. I'm such a hoarder. I got booster boxes all over the place. I'm like, nope, not throwing that away. That was from space.
Flatten them.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I probably should do that. Probably take up less space instead of the mountain that I have behind me.
Oh, Harley.
Hey, at least you held one though, Harley. I still have not actually held an actual like serialized card yet.
I actually knew a streamer who, when they found out that Nightfall came out, that you could pull old scratch in the packs, they would not stream Nightfall because they did not want to pull. Like, they chased the SR, so anytime they opened a CN1 box, they would keep the topper, but they would sell the packs on stream. And then when Nightfall came out and they found out that old scratch was in the boosters, in the packs, they're like, nope, I'm not selling any of this stuff. So they just ripped it all themselves.
Okay, I know a streamer who has opened 2 serialized rares for other people.
Oh no!
I mean, we all know who it is.
Only one I can think of is maybe Argos. Okay. Well, man, I'm like the only one that hasn't opened one. I need to open one. I need more boxes to open.
I can legitimately say though, most streamers are happy when they pull that for other people.
Yeah.
I mean, it boosts them up as a streamer, So it's kind of, it sucks you don't get to keep it, but it's still like,
Plus, they get their name actually on your website too, as long as they report it to you. That's what's so awesome about it. That's why I'm like, all right, let's go. I need to get my name on that website.
Yeah, even on the meteorites, I added the Discord fam fun fact. Rat Queen, Happy Kitty, Epic, Tube HD, Captain Asia has all pulled meteorite serialized rares.
It's true. Captain did actually scream as loud as he could when he pulled the UFO. That's accurate. So yeah, Chad, do you guys have any questions or anything like that for our SR master right here, Mr. Allen?
2 different types of serialized rares for 1 card would be so cool.
Imagine that.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. Like a 1 of 10 and then like a 1 of 100. And it increases the population of the SRs, but at the same time, it keeps it still low enough to where it still gives you that crazy feeling when you pull one. Because like, I'm not sure exactly. I know other TCGs and stuff have done like secret rares and other stuff like that. And I don't know what the pull rates for those are, to be honest with you. And I feel that MetaZoo is more in line with like the sports card world when it comes to pull rates for SRs. When you think of like the 1 of 1 jersey patches and other stuff like that, to where I still feel like they're more aggressive when it comes to SRs versus other TCGs. Because what was it like when Wizard actually did their first, the first serialized rares? For God, what was that set? I can't remember what it was. Was it Brothers War? I think it might have been Brothers War. When they did the first SRs for actual Brothers War, there was something like 34,000 of them or something. Like it was something crazy, a huge number. Which I mean, in the grand scheme of things, though, with like 1 million booster boxes, it's nothing. Like 500,000 booster boxes, it's nothing. But still, it was a lot more than you would think because, like, again, looking at MetaZoo, Cryptid Nation 1, there are 100 red inks. With Cryptid Nation 2, there are 100 blue inks. Like, 100 is nothing when it comes to... I mean, Cryptid Nation 1, 2 is only, like, what? 22,500 booster boxes
you only
printed?
get 1 chance, though,
at
those.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, right? Because they're not put into booster boxes. They're booster packs. They're put into the box topper. So with every single box, you really only get that 1 chance.
Oh, wow.
Right? For red ink, blue ink.
Yep.
And then with Old Scratch, you were only able to pull Old Scratch from booster boxes. So it was super cool to see when Green Man was coming out of every single... I mean, like, with Green Man... You gotta think with such an exclusive card, we were able to confirm 1 Green Man pulled from every single SKU.
Yeah.
And that is cool. Like, we're still waiting for 4 more UFOs. We're still waiting for quite a few different SKUs for Seance. And we're talking about even more serialized rares than Green Man, right? Because Green Man is limited to 100. But to have all 5 SKUs confirmed for Green Man, I mean, that really helps with that product. We're still waiting for the tickets and, things that were teased, but
that's the other crazy thing too about Wilderness. Wilderness is when they actually upped the print run to 100,000 too.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've seen more in Wilderness than we have actually from UFO, which was the same print run, but there are more SRs in UFO. Like, so that's the weird, like, kind of like, wait, what? Like,
it's mind blowing. Yeah.
Like, and it's interesting you actually brought up about the Green Man 2 and every SKU, because if I remember correctly, that was deliberately MetaZoo listening to the community, because that was back when they really were trying to figure out what we wanted in a booster box and a spell book. And they're still working on the ratio when it comes to spell books. I mean, it's going to be harder to actually figure that one out. But with Wilderness, that's when they asked us if we wanted the SR to be true random, and if we wanted the booster boxes to be true random, or if we wanted them to have a set number of hits or anything like that, like other TCGs. Everybody in the community resoundingly actually was like, no, true random. And that's one of the reasons why Wilderness, in my opinion, is one of the roughest booster boxes to open, because you don't know what you're going to get in every single UFO booster box is going to be different. And that was the first time that we ever really had the true, you could get the SR in any SKU.
Mhm.
And that, in my opinion, was MetaZoo directly listening to the community, because that's what we kind of wanted, because they tried it with the booster box, because we liked the box topper. But again, like you said, it was only one shot and that was it. I mean, granted, the Hollow Terras actually have some value to them. So, I mean, it's like if you don't get the red ink, it's fine. You still have some value from the Terra. But they tried it with just the SR in the booster box with Nightfall, and that was cool. That was okay. And it really drove the sales to the booster boxes. It's one of the reasons why, in my opinion, the booster box price actually went up, and it stayed up for forever. It's only recently that the price actually for a booster box really started coming down on Nightfall.
Yeah. And I think, what is it, Old Scratch, just to make sure, because I was listening to the other pod, like MetaZoo Nation, that 10 of them were reserved for God packs, right? I think so.
There
Which also
are
means,
what is it? There are 100 God packs, from what I remember him actually. Yeah, Ian was saying there's 100 God packs, but only 10 of those God packs actually have an Old Scratch in them.
yeah, which also means that, you know, Old Scratch now is also rarer in a sense, because you have 90 of them within the booster boxes, and then 10 of them are placed into God packs. So you get a chance at Old Scratch if you pulled a God pack. You also get a chance at Old Scratch if you didn't pull a God pack.
Oh, could you imagine actually opening up a booster box, pulling a God pack, not getting the Old Scratch, opening up a regular booster pack and pulling the Old Scratch? That would be insane. I would lose my mind.
I've had 2 God packs and no scratch. No scratch.
Malthawk actually has a really good question. He has a theory that in Wilderness, golden tickets can be pulled in booster boxes, bronze in release event, and silver in spellbooks. What do you think?
So I do not remember what the bronze ticket was pulled from, but I know the one gold ticket was pulled from a release event. The second gold ticket was pulled from a different product. But somebody in the chat's got to help me out. I swore the bronze one was open out of a RAB.
I think so.
So if it was open out of a release event box, the other theory that I initially first had was that the gold, bronze, and silver was reserved one in each SKU.
Ooh.
So there will be one gold ticket in the spell book, one gold ticket in booster boxes, theme decks, and same thing for bronze, same thing. I mean, we don't know how many there are out there, but gold tickets have been referenced to Willy Wonka a few times. And
so it'd be like, what,
we're
5?
talking about 5. There's 5 SKUs, so it'd be really cool if within those 5 SKUs, theme decks, release event boxes, blisters, spell books, and booster boxes, if one was reserved for each of those products.
You just cracked the code, my guy.
That would be pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Until we see more, we don't know. But I know that for like golds to be in one, if somebody was to kind of crack that, I think it would be, the community would probably have a little bit more of a say of, negativity in that, if you think about it. But yeah, the first gold ticket was from a release event box, I think so.
I wasn't, because somebody just actually posted Hyperbole, actually they thought he pulled his from a booster box. And I went back and ironically I watched that video of him actually revealing the gold, and the golden ticket. I can't remember where he actually pulled it from, and he says it in that video, I think.
It was either a spellbook or a release event box, because I saw one came from a spellbook and one came from a release event.
Okay.
It might have been was it he had a Fireman Will or something like that. Pulled the second one.
Oh yeah. That's true. Because they actually. Oh, that's right. Because they pulled that. Or no, was that the bronze ticket that was pulled, and then nobody actually said anything for a while? Okay.
That was the bronze one that we all thought it was bronze, but then it was confirmed to be the gold one.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So 2 gold, 1 bronze, no silvers yet.
I want to see that silver ticket, man. I want to see that silver ticket so bad.
Gotta start ripping.
I need some wilderness. I will rip wilderness all
is
day.
so easily obtainable right now.
That's true. That's true. I'm gonna buy all the boost. I'm gonna spend my rent on booster boxes, and my wife's gonna kill me. Sorry if you're listening to this, Chelsea.
Thank you. Yep. Epic.
What's he saying?
Absolutely correct. Yeah. So that's a big thing that
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people don't know. Card Shop Live, formerly known as Channel Fireball. Yeah, they held the majority of all, because back then when Nightfall was released, like we were talking about earlier, not a lot of people had access. There wasn't a lot of certain LGSs were getting it, but it wasn't like over the top. But yeah, that's
well, there were only two big distributors that were carrying it back then, them being one of the ones that actually was carrying it. Yep. And so, yeah, that was, I mean, not to go into too much depth with it, but that's honestly the way that was handled, and the way that Wilderness was handled is one of the reasons why the partner program was put in place.
Yeah.
Because, well, no,
Channel Fireball, they did it with, they were doing it with Cryptid Nation. I mean, when it was sold out on their site, it wasn't sold out. They just chopped it off and waited and then threw it back on. And so they were doing the same thing with Nightfall, and that's when MetaZoo was like, don't do that with our product, and started giving it to other people. So,
and that's one of the reasons why Cryptid Nation 2, in my opinion, tanked, was because of what they were doing. I mean, because Cryptid Nation 2, yes, the print run was bigger, but I feel the value, in my opinion, the value was actually completely manipulated by them to actually tank it, and it just hasn't been able to recover since.
Oh, that's from everybody, because then a lot of people saw like how much, because there's some people out there that made a lot of money off of Kickstarter and Cryptid Nation 1 when it boomed up. And so when other people were able to get it through distro and things like that, they were grabbing it, and then they were just, oh, this guy posted it for 115, I'm gonna do it for 110. Then this guy's like, oh, I saw it for 110, I'm gonna do it for 95. Oh, 95, let's do it for 80, right? Like, and just let's just sell as much of it as we can to turn a slight profit real quick. And that's what, I mean, ultimately that's what established MAP, So
when you got 60% of the profit, or when you got 60% of the product and you're actually buying it super cheap, you have the ability to be able to do something like that. And that's market manipulation. I will say it. I don't care. That's market manipulation. Yeah. So I'm stoked. Like I said, I'm stoked at the way that everything is handled now. I'm stoked with the partner program. I like that there's some sort of regulation actually with the price of everything, because there is no sort of manipulation with anything, in my opinion. But to go back to it though, it's really interesting. And I honestly would like your thoughts on this, Alan. It's interesting to me, the progression that we've seen with the secret rares, and how the secret rares in general are one of the things that MetaZoo seems to try to, and I don't want to use the phrase one up themselves, but it seems like they try to kind of do that with the secret rares. I mean, look what they did going from Wilderness, and then with the space rares into UFO, and then look at what they did then going into Seance with, and again, I'm keep saying the redeemables, but with the redeemables that they actually have in Seance potentially, I mean, that's why I'm so excited to actually see some of the stuff with Native, because I honestly, I don't know what they would do, because it's the other thing too, is that each of the SRs, in my opinion, have somehow complemented the set, or made sense within the set. It wasn't just something that seemed weird or out of place. Like, each one of them actually made sense overall thematically with it. So I don't know. That's why I'm really interested to see what's going to happen with Native, like what they are in Native, because they, again, knowing MetaZoo, that thematically they're going to fit.
Yeah. I mean, they've obviously spent a lot of time on the serialized rares, and it's very exciting to see. They're changing it up. They're trying to figure out what's the right fit. We've seen the 3 iterations with them. But I think it's also those little fun moments where that they really care about it, when they don't want to talk about it. They're trying to tease it. They're trying to not pretend what's serialized. They're trying to pretend that they don't know what secret rares are, serialized rares to the community, which in the end really just hypes things up. even more, right? And I think that's what a lot of us sometimes we forget, that when they're telling us, hey, you know what's secret rares, that is in a form of hyping it up. That is getting us a little bit more worked up on, they know that there's something in the works. It's really exciting. But my favorite part is just letting the community figure it out. I know a lot of times we want checklists. We want people to give us a teaser to see what everything is. I thought that they did that really well with UFO, showing us one card out of that, and then just trying to let the community figure out what the rest of them are. And I really hope that is just how they play it as each set comes by, and just wait it out. If it takes a week for it to show up, it takes a week for it to show up.
And that's something else too that we didn't even really talk about at all. But outside of the main core sets, they still do secret rares in other products. I mean, yeah, we talked about like UFO Pin Club, things of that nature. But the Fresno Nightcrawler secret rare from Dimmok. You could even almost go. I don't know. The alt art pins from like Nightfall and stuff, they aren't really serialized.
They're not serialized. They're not star rares, but the alternate arts are, I would say, still kind of like ingrained in that little bit. They're not. They're hidden on the checklist. They black them out on the back of the boxes, so they are, in a sense, a little bit of a secret.
Oh, and Cap actually has a good point too. We actually haven't seen any of the Hero Quest 2 redeemables or secret rares. Because they alluded that they existed too, so we haven't seen any of those, which is kind of interesting. Well, maybe we have though. That's the thing though, is that because they kind of alluded that we needed to scan the cards, and I'll be honest, I haven't scanned every single one of mine. Like the QR code itself, but like I don't know. Like that's the thing, is that MetaZoo, I don't want to say they pull tricks, but they don't give us all the information sometimes, which is amazing. And it's like, figure it out, guys. And I kind of feel like that's what I know. It's fun. It makes our job very fun and interesting. And that's kind of what they did specifically with Hero Quest. They were like, we're not going to tell you. There's stuff in there. Go find it.
Scan the QR code.
Yeah, I know. I need to do that. I still have probably like 35 cards or so. I wish I had more Hero Quest 2 to open too. That was such a fun set to actually open. The artwork is insane.
I legitimately like the music on the CD. I'm not even.
Hey, Movie Star has become one of my favorite songs. I'll be honest with you. One of the remixes. I can't remember which remix it is, but yeah, one of the remixes of Movie Star has become. I honestly love that song to death.
Cult hits the right spots for me.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
Such a good song.
That's like my favorite one off the whole thing, man. I love that. And Whistle is a great one, man. It's very like, I love it. I play it on stream all the time. It's like my streamer.
Oh, Ghost Train actually brought up a good point too. There probably will be. Oh, I mean, technically, there are. Okay, that's old Topps cards, like the first sighting cards and stuff. Like those are serialized cards. I mean, so like it's crazy that there are so many different products overall in the MetaZoo franchise that can go back to being some sort of serialized something. And I understand a lot of them, it'd be really hard, like the Fresno Nightcrawlers. That would be a really hard one for you to track because, again, you'd have to actually track it based off of the holo pattern like you were talking before, which, again, that's a brilliant idea, by the way, man. It's such a brilliant idea, actually, though. I never would have thought about that, actually being able to track them based off the holo pattern.
Yeah, I'll send you a picture later on what I mean. I'll see if I can find the picture that I helped my friend with, just to give you a little bit more of an insight. But I think, it will be exciting if something was to be released without it. It's a lot of work, but I mean, I'd be willing to do it. The community is out there to be able to just send pictures to me and help me out. So I'm thankful for that already. But first sightings is definitely not something that I'm going to think of doing.
That would be a lot of them, dude. Yeah. Oh my god, there would be a lot of them. You have to make your own little subsection.
But however, I've been thinking, like with Topps Chrome. It's not announced. I know there's, but the idea of having superfractors, one of ones.
Yeah.
I am teasing the idea of keeping track of those.
What about the PFP boxes, the one of ones and stuff like that?
That's a good question. No, but the PFP boxes, that's the hard part, because like the boxes are all claimed for, right? They're already claimed for. So if you can think of a sense, if they've made so many boxes, they've made so many one of ones, and if everybody who owns a PFP have already bought their boxes, it's fun to track that, but I don't know if it's really going to be something that I think of doing, just because they're already accounted for. It's almost, it's easier to explain with the DimMac rugs. If somebody asked me about keeping track of the serialized rares for DimMac rugs, but it's the same thing. They're sold up to that amount, so you can only imagine that every one of them have already been accounted for. So is it worth it to keep track of what's with whose hands? And that's why I didn't go and trace the rugs. I may, however, open up a page to just highlight the serialized rares that has come out in the past. But I know Jody has already have a great page on all the previous serialized rares. So I'm toying with the idea. There's a lot of different things I can do. But I mean, if there's something that's out there that's really cool, and all of you start messaging me, asking me if I'm going to do it, that's where I might consider.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with you. I could see you maybe putting the one of ones or maybe the one of tens on the site, but putting the one of 100s from the PFP boxes and such like that would be a lot of work. And again, they're not at that point. You have, like, let's say 10 different one of 100s. I mean, that's 1,000 cards. It's not the same thing as what like the secret rares or the star rares and stuff like that from the previous sets, where I can kind of maybe see the one of ones or the one of tens, just because they are going to be super limited. But then you're right, though. It brings up the question of, do you update it anytime they transfer hands, or is it just this person pulled it and then that's it? Like I could see how that could actually cause more questions than really answers.
Yeah, I think what I want to majority of what I've had was just to highlight them being pulled, them being surfaced, revealed. And I've only ever actually changed owners once. I've done that once. It was requested, and I didn't see that as a hard thing to do. So I changed it. The person took their time out of their day to message me, to send me a clearer picture, and to also let me know that they are the new owner. It was a Sky Snake alternate art from UFO.
Nice.
And they have, I think, messaged me twice just to kind of give me like, hey, I'm the owner of it now. And just being thankful that with the community, I changed the owner. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. That's cool. You did that when they reached out. But yeah, does anybody else in the chat? Do anybody have any other questions? This is one of the few times you actually have Alan right here, focused. You can ask him any of your SR questions you have. You could ask him what his favorite type of music is. I don't know. What is your favorite type of music? I'm curious now.
Type classic rock.
Ooh, okay.
I mean, Johnny Cash, Meatloaf.
Jeez.
Yeah, Meatloaf is Ronnie James Dio.
I would not have pegged you as a Johnny Cash guy. That's awesome.
Yeah, I love Johnny Cash.
Oh, now you're gonna have to sing a song like him. Next time we're gonna do. Oh God, we're all gonna have to go to karaoke next time. I'm gonna have to see you do a Johnny Cash song.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sold. Yeah, I can't think of anything else, to be honest with you, man. I wish I could keep you on here and talk to you more, because like you are. And it's crazy too, because like I know you had no intention of becoming this persona, the SR tracking guy, the SR MetaZoo like leader. Like I realized that, and it's so awesome that not only did you just do it, and then was like, you know what, we're just gonna make it. But like, you're a genuine dude. You're super nice. You try to help as many people as you can, not only on Discord but on Instagram, on Facebook. You're active on the island. Like, you're a stand up MetaZoo citizen. Like, I can't speak more highly of you. And I love how you took the initiative. You saw something that was missing from the community, and you took the initiative to jump right in and try to fill that hole.
Thank you. I mean, the same goes for everyone too.
Hyperbole. Where did you pull your golden ticket, brother? What skew?
It's the golden ticket.
I know. That's what I went back and watched that video recently, and I was like, okay. He was so excited. I thought it was a booster box. Yeah, it was a booster box.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so from your theory, then that is the golden ticket from booster boxes.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, I don't know if you remember, but that was the thing where I was trying to tell people, like, hey, you know what, like, spell books is something that I haven't seen a ticket pulled out of. You know, theme decks. Theme decks may seem a little crazy, but like MetaZoo Drew did open up a green man in that one lonely pack. So it is done. I mean, there's just so much hidden. We have to do our part in just opening what we have.
Don't leave anything sealed, according to Alan. Rip it all. Except for my one Cryptid Nation 1 box. That's the only thing we don't open. Everything else we open.
I mean, I still have one sealed Nightfall, but that is not for the sake of keeping sealed. That's just one day I'm just going to open it, maybe with all of you, and see if an old scratch comes out.
You're going to get one for sure. Knowing you and your luck, you're going to pull it. Or it's going to be some weird Collect-A-Con stamp packs again. Or it's going to be some sort of like Cryptid Nation 1 Moth in a Nightfall booster box. Or it's going to be something.
But I gotta do my hyperbole impression.
I love you, Jay.
Hey, hyperbole. He did good on his native spoiler packs too, man. He pulled the Wendigo.
Dude, that Wendigo is like that. That's one of my chase cards now. That was such a beautiful, beautiful card. Oh my god! And if you haven't actually, I will say this: if you have not actually seen Hyperbole's video of when he actually reveals the green, not the green man, sorry, the golden ticket, go and watch it. It's great. It's great.
I just reenacted it though.
He did.
So
it was pretty accurate. It was pretty accurate. But no, go and watch the video of him actually revealing the golden ticket, because again, that was the first golden ticket that we'd actually seen from any of the SKUs when Jay or Hyperbole actually showed that to the community. That was the first one we had seen at that point. So definitely a historic, awesome moment.
Didn't they grade a CGC 10?
I think so. I think it did.
Yeah,
I think it did.
Perfect 10.
I think he graded a CGC 10. Not
that. I think
pristine, but that's freaking.
Didn't the bronze ticket also grade a 10 too?
Was it the bronze that got a 10, or was it the?
I think the bronze got a 10 recently.
That's crazy. I just want one. I just want to open up one just so I can get on your website. That is a goal of mine for 2023. Oh, I hope so.
Start with native.
My goal for 2023 is to get on your website, Alan.
Let's do it. I mean, like, you see people pulling them, so it's definitely done, right? Like, people who says that they don't have a chance. Again, I have every type of story to tell you that you do have a chance. Yes, it is RNG. I mean, don't let certain videos out there, not naming who, but like 20,000 boxes. It's definitely doable. But you just got to start with cracking at least one pack.
Mm-hmm. Don't leave anything sealed. Everything. Rip it all. All of it.
I ripped my theme decks while I was sitting here. So
you're just ripping packs, weren't you, the entire time?
No.
That's great. What is Jetta? Does your PSA 10 have 60-40 centering come grab the brand new PSA 20. I gotta show that comment. That's great, especially after the nice big PSA tangent we went on for a while there.
Okay.
But yeah, so anybody watching this now currently, or anybody that watches this in the future, like I said, I'm going to put all of his contact info inside of the description of the video. If you ever pull a secret rare, if you know of anybody that pulls a secret rare, hit this man up. Instagram, Discord, Facebook. I mean, can they contact you through the website?
You can contact me through any way. I've got everything opened up. Discord, the website, Linktree, Instagram. It's all
Awesome.
out there. Yeah.
But yeah, and like, so if you find anything crazy, definitely make sure to hit this man up. This man is a godsend when it comes to this community, because I'll be honest, without you and Jody, there would be, I mean, huge shout out, by the way, to MetaZoo HQ. Without you and Jody, there would be no, honestly, database whatsoever. I mean, I know that Cutthroat Zoo has been posting like the spoilers and such like that over on MetaZoo archives, but I know that like they have a good relationship with Jody and a good relationship with you, and like, but without you and Jody at MetaZoo HQ, it would be hard to actually have representations for each of the cards. So like, huge shout out to both of you. I always, and that's one of the things too, if you ever are looking for MetaZoo HQ's website, I have that link in the description of every video of mine, because of how often I reference it, because of pulling cards for like the Cryptid Theory videos, the Cryptid Collection videos, stuff like that. So like, you can find Jody's website in any of my videos. Definitely make sure though you actually go and check out Alan's website, metazoosr.com. And again, if you ever run across any of the SRs whatsoever, always hit him up. You feel free to hit me up. They look, just show off. Feel free to hit me up. I mean, I will definitely pass the message to him. I mean, it's CNO as well too. Like, I love it actually when one of the new ones. We need to see some more of the Seance ones. So Rip Seance, specifically reverse hollow booster boxes. They are in there. I promise you. Maybe not the one you have.
Otherwise, I think maybe there's a different. There's definitely a higher rarity than a hollow pattern.
And it goes back to what I was saying too about one of the reasons I really feel there's been a huge drop in the reporting for the Seance SRs is because we've stopped ripping any of the reverse hollow booster boxes, and like that's a huge thing to me. Like, it's a huge red flag, because, well, and like Dean's actually saying rip the theme decks. Yes, rip the theme decks, rip the blisters, rip the spell books, all of it. But Seance is the first set where we have ripped more theme decks, REBs, spell books, blisters. There have been more of that ripped than booster boxes, and we still haven't seen them. That tells me that they're in those boxes. Like, they have to be in those boxes. So I don't know. You might actually open up a full reverse hollow box and then be able to pull one of the actual Solomon Ring redemption tokens. Again, speculative, that we don't know if that's actually what the redeemable is. I got to say that now because of you, Alan. Leave nothing sealed. Yes. No, what do you say? No, Rob, you assured me it's in my box. I'm going to rip all of it, Cap. Rip all of it. Here, how you post that so people can see what I'm talking about. Rip all of it. And then, like Alan said, leave nothing sealed. No, we're not going to leave it half sealed, Ghost Train. We are going to leave nothing sealed. See how I did that? That was nice. That was nice. I like that too, Jody. That's a good one right there. Free the green man. They deserve to be free. They deserve to go back to the forest. That's where they want to go. And plus, you'll be really cool like Alan. You'll be able to join his cool little team.
Let's do it.
But man, thank you for this. This has been great. Like, I learned a lot actually about the different secret rares. I love the process of how you actually got the website up and running, the idea, like you said, the initiative of just jumping with it and going. And yeah, that story about the Nightfall booster boxes or the spell books, I can't believe you never told me that. That is such a crazy story.
Yeah, I have to find it for you. I will definitely find it for you.
That is such a. I mean, and for anybody that jumped in here late and actually doesn't know or anything like that, my man right here opened up Collecticon stamped cards in his first Nightfall spell books that he opened. That's so crazy. That's such an amazing way to be introduced to MetaZoo, in my opinion. Yeah, you have to show me pictures of the card. I'm gonna go stalk your Instagram now and actually try to find all those cards.
Yeah.
Like, what is he liking everything for?
You'll see the two of them. Absolutely. Yeah.
God, it's so awesome. That's such a cool story, man. But thank you for being here, though. Thanks to everybody that actually come and hung out with the chat. I mean, we had some good questions. We had some really good conversations. Again, huge shout out to Jody over at MetaZoo HQ. Make sure to go and check out Alan's website, metazoosr.com. And I mean, yeah, Mike, I'm gonna let you talk because I'm monologuing again. I'm sorry.
No, thanks for coming on, man. I mean,
thank you.
Rob was like, he was like, what about getting Alan for Monday? I was like, yes.
So excited, dude.
Awesome, dude. Like, I'll be so happy on that one. Like, I want to get Hasbar on here too, man. Just because with y'all, both of you guys, man, that again made me feel welcome in the Discord and stuff like that. So
you're one of the nicest people, man, and you help so many people on the Discord. You help so many people in Facebook and Instagram and all sorts of stuff. And like, I know people, almost everybody has interacted with you, but nobody has had a real chance, I want to say, to actually get to know you a little bit. So like, thank you for giving us that privilege to actually like get people to get to know you a little bit more, a little more personal, because everybody has a story, and that's what we're trying to show with this show. Let's Talk MetaZoo. Everybody has a story, and somehow MetaZoo has brought all of us together in this moment right now. And there's a reason why we were all together in this moment, part of this community, excited for the future. And the more we connect and the more that we actually celebrate each other, the better this community will be, the bigger this community will actually get. And the sky's the limit, honestly, in my opinion.
Get those native pre-orders in too.
Get the native pre-orders in, and don't leave anything sealed.
Don't leave anything sealed. And we gotta say it together.
I was gonna say, like, we have to end it actually with it. We have to end it. So do you want to say it, or do you want us all to say it?
Let's go on 3, 2, 1.
All right, you got to get in on this too, Mike. All right. All right. Crazy voice. All right. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Serialized rares are real. All right, now we got to do that again. All right, we got to do that again. Okay. All right, here we go.
Rob, can you do it by yourself one time?
Oh my God, really? You want me to? All right, fine. I will. I don't care. I have no shame. All right, count me down.
3, 2, 1.
Serialized rares are real.
They are real.
They're so real. They're all real, unless I try to pull them. But you guys are amazing. Thank you again for jumping in here. Like I said, you ever come across any sort of serialized rare, hit that guy up right there. It's so awkward. There we go. And once again, Alan, thank you for being here, man. You're amazing.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're amazing. So until next time, my guys, we will we'll post some sort of info about who we actually are we're in the process of trying to figure out who we're gonna bring on next week. We'll let you guys know. But Alan, dude, for real, been a true pleasure.
That is confirmed already.
Oh, really? For next week?
Yep.
Ooh, you guys are gonna in for a treat next week. I don't know if we can actually say. I'd leave it up to Mike.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say who it is just yet. There will be huge. It will be huge. It will be a crazy stream. Do not miss next week's. It will be a crazy stream. It'll basically be like a collector's edition. The who we have coming on actually has the largest amounts. He has the largest sample Mothman collection out of anybody. I believe he has 12 of them. Really smart guy. And I think it'll he's a big time investor into MetaZoo as well. And I think if people hear his outlook on what makes him, as an investor go so hard on MetaZoo, I think it'll kind of give people a perspective or a little, yes, Dean.
Yep,
Yes,
buddy.
Dean.
Yep, you're right, buddy. Yeah, yes.
Next Monday. But
yeah,
9 p.m.
we'll give out. We're giving out too much info. We'll give out more info though later in the week. I love you all though. This entire community, every single person in here. This guy to my left or right, it depends on your perspective. The guy that's underneath me right here. Everybody in this community, you all are amazing. Keep up the great work. Keep up the supporting each other. Keep lifting everybody up. Let's keep growing this community. Let's get more people invested in the MetaZoo, whether it's playing or storyline or collecting or what have you. Like, you guys are amazing. All right, we're actually gonna have to end it this time though. But I really want to do the serialized rares are real. All right, so we're gonna have to. Let's really count it down, and then we'll actually do it. And we'll end it. All right. All right.
Wait. 3, 2, 1.
Serialized rares are real. We did it. Okay, no, we got to redo it now because he said reels.
Okay.
All right. Last time, guys, we promise.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Serialized
rares are real. Woo! All right. I love you guys. You're all amazing.
Everyone.